Back tonight against the hot White Sox after being swept by the Padres. First pitch is at 6:40. We got Wu on the mound. The Western Conference Finals begin tonight as OKC and now two-time NBA MVP SGA take on Wemby and the Spurs. In the NHL, we got a Game 7. Buffalo force a win-or-go-home game against Montreal. Puck drops at 4:30. And congrats to Aaron Rye becoming the first English-born player to win the PGA Championship since 1919.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
It wasn't a good weekend, Curtis. It was not a good weekend. It was nice because I did go to the game Sunday and the sun was out.
Weather was great.
You saw Emerson out there for the first time. And but as we mentioned in the snapshot, man, not good.
No.
They're coming off a series where you're like, okay, let's see what this team can do against the big boy. The Padres, right? A team that's been pretty good. Sheets goes crazy. You got Wu, who started off with some high velocity. The command was off a little bit. You only get one hit, but you get three runs in a weird way. It was just a weird series for me. The best part about it was that I was there on a Sunday, and the vibe started off pretty good, and the weather was nice, but not the series that we were hoping to see.
No, especially coming off of what was a very successful series against the Astros where you take 3 of 4. You're hoping that momentum can continue into a weekend series at home where you have played your best ball historically over a long run now, where the Mariners have had a distinct home field advantage for themselves. But, yeah, it just never got going at all this weekend. In the words of the great philosopher Marshawn Lynch,
no juice.
No juice. There was no juice over this weekend. The Mariners, all 3 games just come out flat. And by the time Sunday, midway through that game, I mean, it was just, all right, this is a series sweep in favor of the Padres, which is really tough to stomach. But I don't know. There was not a lot of great that we saw this weekend. Obviously, it was fun getting to see Colt Emerson's call up, and that was a really cool moment. But I mean, between all the injuries, between just the flat performance out there, Bump, it left, I think, a lot of people with a bitter taste in their mouth.
Yeah, it was bitter. Too many San Diego fans out there, too. Maybe I just don't like hearing any type of cheers for anybody else, but I didn't like it. But like we do after every series, let's get into what we liked, loved, and disliked. I'm going to start it for you. This is something that you really liked.
The 3-1 pitch, here she comes. Swinging a fly ball into the gap in the right center field. Well hit. Julio going back to the warning track near the wall. Leaps up and he makes the catch. Tumbles to the warning track. Holy smokes, what a catch by Julio Rodriguez. Robbing Duran of would have been his second home run of the game. Julio getting back to the wall, timing that leap perfectly, and right in front of the J-Rod squad, he robs Duran of a home run.
We've had some people texting questioning Julio and his defensive play this year. It's been pretty solid, but not up to what we're used to seeing, but you like seeing that from Julio.
Yeah, that was an incredible catch he made. Unfortunately, the game was not really out of hand at that point. It was 7-4. That kept it from becoming a 9-4 ball game. So it did keep the Mariners in it until their final at bat, and potentially, Julio coming up with 2 runners on, thought maybe something was going to get going there. Unfortunately not. But it does remind us all that, yes, Julio has not been, his normal self with the glove this year, that he can still make, just the jaw-dropping plays time and time again. So that was something that I liked over the weekend.
I liked it too. And my like is I'm begging on this one, Curtis. I'm begging, okay? I liked the 6th inning for the most part. You had some smart ABs, right? Emerson walks. You got Rivas who walks. Julio's walks. Naylor walks a base. A runner comes in. Sack fly from Randy. Sack fly from Russ Snyder. I'm like, all right, well, you're generating runs, but you're doing it in a way that's not conducive to a high-scoring game, especially when you're already down 7. So I like that. I like that there were some smart ABs. I like that they were patient at the plate. I didn't like that we got 3 runs in that inning and did not get 1 hit.
Yeah, I think that was well said, Bump, where it was like, this is not a sustainable way to generate offense with the 2 sack flies, a fielder's choice, walking in a run. Like, it was not a way that I would go about putting together a 3-run inning. And yeah, you only finished yesterday with just the one hit by Luke Raley. That was a tough watch yesterday on Sunday Night Baseball. You got to be able to find a way to generate more and more offense outside of just hitting the occasional home run. And right now you're down Cal Raleigh, your best home run hitter. And the home run hitters that you do have in your lineup just have not been doing it consistently enough. Naylor, Julio, Randy, all three of those guys not with a ton of home runs. It's crazy here on May 18th that J.P. Crawford has one of the highest home run totals on the entire team. He hit that solo shot on Saturday, but that's not somebody who I think you can bank on consistently to have a high home run total. Yeah, the only guys with more home runs on the team right now than JP are Julio, Cal, and Luke Raley. All three of those guys very much I would consider power hitters, whereas JP never has been that really throughout the course of his career. He's got more home runs than Naylor, more home runs than Rosarena, more home runs than Dom Canzone. Brendan Donovan has only been available for like half the games this season. He's got 3, but yeah, I think you've got to be able to get more power out of your power bats, especially considering that is the formula the Mariners have had for years and years here. That's how you're going to get your runs, is get a couple guys on base and then hope one of your guys in the middle of the order hits a home run. Bases
jacked, no outs, and you get 3 runs out of that thing. So, yes, I'm with you 100%, man. Put the ball in play. Let's see what happens. All right, here's something that you loved. We got to see the rookie. Who'd you say was a couple of days in front of his prediction when it came to seeing Colt? It was Buster Olney, who was on with us in spring training. And Buster, we just asked him, like, hey, when do you think Colt Emerson will be up this year? And he just kind of threw a random date out and was like, maybe like May 15th. And lo and behold, he only missed by 2 days. Yeah, it was May 17th. So that's pretty good. Look, I think Buster only knows his stuff. And sure enough, yeah, he nailed it just about. All right, speaking of the young Colt Emerson, here's him talking about taking in every moment.
But at the end of the day, this is a very special day for me, and a special day for my family, a special day for everybody who's been along with me, So I wanted to soak in as much as possible and really take it in, and this is first of many days. So I'm just happy to be here, happy to be a part of this team. The guys coming in the clubhouse, the guys are great to me, and this is a really special group here, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Now, Colt is going to have a way better career than I had in the NFL. Guarantee that, all right? But I remember my first start. It was against the 49ers, and you walk into the stadium, and you look around, and you're like, dang, I'm really here right now. Yeah. You look across the sideline, you see the 49ers logo, coaches and players that I've watched growing up, and it hits you. But as soon as it's time to play, then it's time to play. But nice standing ovation Colt got from the fans, too. Yeah, it was really cool, that moment where he gets the standing O in his first AB. I thought that first pop-up that he got at third base, what was it? It was in the first couple of innings. Yeah. It was before his first at-bat. I thought that was a good way for him to just kind of get a little bit of the nerves out of the way. That first ball hit to you, especially dealing with the sun, which can be tough in that late afternoon time slot here in Seattle. I thought he looked really good. One thing, though, Bump, and we had talked about this in a group chat yesterday, JP goes down. Mm-hmm. Why is Colt Emerson still at third? Why is he still there? He's a shortstop by trade. He's played phenomenal shortstop in the minor leagues. That's what he's going to end up playing throughout the course of his big league career. I think once J.P. Crawford's Mariner career is over, why did you continue to have him play third base after J.P. leaves the game? And I said, you know why. Well, yeah, there's a lot. There might be some hurt feelings. That's what I'm saying. They're like, we got to protect JP, and Rivas can play third, right? Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, they're making sure. You know what this reminds me of? There's when we played Auburn back in 2007. We're getting smacked, right? Yeah. Auburn's a good football team. We bring in our backup quarterback Gary Rogers. Gary takes us 80 yards down the field and we score a touchdown. He's out the next series. Because hold on, we don't want any type of feelings. Alex Brink, big up Spring. I love you, baby. Love you too. to Gary Rogers, but everyone knew what was going down in that moment. I felt that in that moment, too, right there. And, things happen fast your first time out there. Here's Colt talking about a 90-mile-an-hour pitch.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. I came in, I thought that was the fastest 90-mile-per-hour fastball I've ever seen in high, But, good at bat. Went down 0-2 early and then battled back. But, I think the more pitches I see, the more comfortable I get. And, yeah.
Yeah, I bet that thing was moving, baby. That heart rate is going up. It's just nice to get that out the way. He did have what I called a professional AB in the 6th inning when he took that walk. Didn't bite, didn't take the bait. Overall, made a play at third base. Maybe missed one that he held on a bit too long to, but for the most part, decent day for Colt.
I thought he made the most consistent contact of anybody in that Mariners lineup yesterday. Yeah, there were 2 flyouts to right field, but it was weird because when he made contact with those balls, it wasn't very loud, but you could see the ball kind of jump off his bat a little bit, and that was a surprise to me. Where I was kind of like, all right, there's a little something there. Look, I really like that Colt Emerson is up. Yes, I wish it was under better circumstances because of the injury to Brendan Donovan and whatnot, but ultimately, with all that is at stake in this season, and it is, still weird to say that the Mariners, have World Series aspirations with as slow of a start as they've gotten off to, but that's because the rest of the American League has been, basura. You need your 26 best guys up. You need your 26 best guys on the roster, and I think Colt Emerson, with, he just hasn't had as smooth of a landing in AAA as I think a lot of people had hoped he would. Even with that, I think he is one of your 26 best players, so you got to have him up. And he's certainly better at third base every day than I think, the other possibilities of being Leo Rivas and Connor Joe and a couple other guys who could potentially be up there as well. But I think Colt Emerson right now gives the Mariners their best chance at keeping this thing going. And then once Brendan Donovan's back, hopefully healthy, who knows how long that whole injury is going to take to heal fully, then all of a sudden you've got another respected bat in that lineup, and it opens up a little more possibility for your offense and for some just lineups out there.
So Curtis, as you know, I own a training facility, Elite Training Academy. Holla at me. And what I do is, especially when we first get our group of football players in, we'll get like 120 football players in, and I just watch the way these kids move. I go, all right, he controls his body. He's fluid there. When Colt was out there and I'm watching him move, I'm like, okay, this kid, this young man is moving with fluidity. There's a confidence there. I'm not knocking JP or Donovan or anyone else, but he's young. Like the movements are there, super confident. So happy for that dude. Hopefully he starts to hit the ball and do his thing. All right. Dislike, you just mentioned it pretty much. Injuries, got Cal, Brendan Donovan, JP, Garver. This is why you need guys like Colt Emerson to play right now.
Yeah, they are so banged up, and it's not just those guys. It's the bullpen, too. It's Victor Robles. Like, they have got guys on the shelf everywhere you look. And I think with Colt Emerson up, yes, it does put a nice Band-Aid on the Donovan injury. But now you're looking at like Garver getting banged up in that Houston series. He doesn't catch on Friday night, and then he catches on Sunday. That was his first game back because Pareda got the start again on Saturday. So Garver all of a sudden gets thrust into like a very important role here where it's like you're the starting catcher. Like we need you as much as possible because Johnny Pareda, thank you for being here, but I just don't see him any more than, kind of being your third catcher, guy who's going to be up and down between Seattle and Tacoma a lot this year. That's not somebody who I want to rely on every single day. Now, Garver, his bat has not been there for going on 3 years now, but at least there's some familiarity there with the pitching staff throwing to him when he does get, his regular fill-in for Cal behind the plate every single week. But yeah, these injuries are piling up, and they're piling up to a lot of important guys, and hopefully the Mariners can kind of weather all that's being thrown their way right now.
I'm with you 100% on the dislike with the injuries. I'm also going to throw out there just the offense. 23 left on base, 3 for 19 runners in score position. You got 1 hit the other day. Offense just didn't really click the way that we're used to seeing. Before we get into headline rewrites, thank you, Texter, for reminding me about this. I actually heard about this weekend. the WHL and CHL champion Everett Silvertips, baby. We got another champion here on the West Side. So big ups to the Silvertips. Ever been to one of their games?
No, I grew up going to Thunderbirds games,
okay.
I've always hated the Silvertips. But shout out to them. Yeah.
I've been to a couple of their games. These young men are hungry out there. It's a different vibe watching that game. So Silvertips, congratulations. Thunderbirds, maybe next time.
They've already got it. They've got a couple WHL championships.
All right, cool. There we go.
That's old news.
Trying to catch up, Silvertips. All right, let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, real life.
Headline rewrites.
Must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news.
Powered by Bay Alarm Security Services.
With Bump and Stacy.
The Mariners have announced that they will piggyback Luis Castillo and Bryce Miller on Tuesday. What's the real headline?
Headline, in the spirit of another kids' activity, let's hope they don't get leapfrogged in the standings.
And let's hope not. 2 games behind, right? Even after the sweep, when it comes to the Padres, we're looking at the A's, still trying to catch those guys. Explain what the piggyback means to someone who might not understand that.
So one of Castillo or Miller will get the start on Tuesday, and then the other will come in long relief. And I imagine the next guy will come in at the start of an inning. He won't come in. Let's say Luis Castillo gets pulled with 2 outs in an inning. They're not going to bring Miller in behind him or reverse. If Miller starts, they're not going to bring Castillo in the middle of an inning. They'll probably have like a bridge guy to get him out of that inning and then get the other guy. This theoretically would free up your bullpen that day because these 2 guys could probably take over the bulk of the innings, maybe get you even a complete game between the 2. But again, this is kind of pushing back the eventual decision on who's going to get this rotation spot for the long term. I don't think a 6-man rotation is going to be feasible for much longer. This is kind of the best of both worlds, but it does kind of feel a bump like the Mariners are ultimately kind of pushing a decision on Luis Castillo specifically further and further down the road, where if you make a move maybe too early, then maybe you hurt his feelings. He did look good in his last start at times against Houston, but to me it just kind of feels like this decision is going to be pushed back probably another week or 2 before we finally get a resolution as to what this rotation is going to look like.
Feels like in-house competition, and we'll see how this thing goes. I think Castillo has it in him, but time is running out.
Headline rewrites.
Aaron Rodgers is officially back with the Steelers. He signed a 1-year deal to return to Pittsburgh. What's the real headline?
Real headline, between the Steelers organization, Rodgers, and Steelers fans, you really have to ask, is anyone excited about this? I don't think anybody really is happy that he's back. I think Aaron Rodgers is kind of like, I'll give it one more go. And Steelers fans are like, really? This is the best we could do?
And then you got to think about his relationship with McCarthy. They didn't end on the greatest terms.
No,
so
they did not.
Something told me they either got on the phone, a Zoom, or he was there early today. I saw him on ESPN. Maybe they sat down and hashed it out. If they're not good, this doesn't happen, but that doesn't mean that there's going to be a moment during the season where Aaron looks at that sideline and kind of shakes his head on a decision.
You know what's crazy is that I believe it was last offseason when the Seahawks had made the decision to move on from Geno Smith and they traded him to Vegas. Aaron Rodgers' name was floated among the candidates to take over as starting quarterback here in Seattle because he was a free agent after the Jets did not want to bring him back after his 2 seasons in New York. And, I think about all that transpired last year. Obviously, the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl, Sam Darnold cementing himself as the Seahawks starting quarterback for at least the near future. What does last season look like here in Seattle with Aaron Rodgers as the team's starting quarterback? And then you kind of ask that question of, who would be the worst quarterback in the league that the 2025 Seahawks could have that would still result in a Super Bowl victory? Do the Seahawks still win the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback last year?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so.
Because he never had a game the way that Darnold did in the NFC Championship.
Yeah. Darnold had 2 or 3 games where he showed his true potential. I have the ability to win games and take it over. Don't ask me to do it every single week.
Yeah.
But I'm young enough, this arm has enough pop in it where I can do it. When I watch Aaron Rodgers play, it's like he's just holding on for dear life. The pop isn't there when he throws the football. The mobility isn't there. But this is the Steelers' best option at this point. So Steelers fans, good luck.
Headline Rewrites.
Aaron Rai became the first Englishman to win the PGA Championship. What's the real headline, Governor?
Real headline, this may have passed Kenny Pickett being a first-round pick as the biggest moment for the two-glove community.
Two-glove Rai. Him and Lawrence Taylor out there with two gloves. Look, last week or a couple weeks ago, I talked crap about a couple golfers, right? I said, look, if you wear iron covers, then I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Rai wears iron covers, but the story is, back in the day, his family was poor. His dad spent a lot of money on some Titleist irons, and he didn't want to mess them up.
Yeah,
I get it. So now he's saying, I'm taking them back. I'm staying humble. So, look, I get it. My man sunk a 70-foot putt and did not react at all. You let me sink a putt 70 feet at the PGA, you're getting a smile out of me or something.
You doing the Tiger Woods fist pump?
Oh, yeah.
Or even the Tiger Woods double fist pump, too, that he's done?
I'm double fist. I'm pointing to the crowd. I'm hyping him up. But he's a stone cold killer, man, this Rai.
Him wearing the two gloves, the two black gloves, makes me think of those, like, barbecue pit masters that wear the two black gloves.
He was cooking.
He was
cooking. He what was it, 16, got on in 2. He had an eagle putt to kind of start the back 9. He struggled a little bit. There were some ups and downs. This wasn't an easy ride for Rai, and that's all.
I wasn't actually aware of it until yesterday. I think in this room yesterday it was mentioned, which was the first in my knowledge. But yeah, extremely proud. There's a lot of incredible and historic English players over those 100 years who have gone on to achieve incredible things and had phenomenal careers. But to win this event and to be a person that's the first one to have won it in such a long time from England is an amazing thing and something to be extremely proud of.
Well, I will say, man, it was tough sledding for him, and the resilience he showed in that back 9 was crazy. He birdied 6 of the last 10 holes, I want to say. A 70-foot putt, an eagle putt, no smiles, just straight stone cold killer. His wife's on the tour, so he's got it in him, man. First English-born player since 1919. And even back then, it wasn't stroke play, it was match play, so that was a bit easier. So for him to hold this out and get it done, happy for you, Ryan. You were not on my bingo card.
No.
But I ain't mad at you at all. All right, we're just getting started here on the Bump and Stacy Show. We got a lot to do today. This is the Dad Podcast, if you haven't recognized already. We got MLB Pipelines Jim. How do you say that last name? Callis. I didn't want to jack you up. If it was Latin, I would say Callis. Callis. We got the 33rd teams, Sam Monson. We got Bryan Walters, who's going to join us also around the 1 o'clock hour. See what Bryan has to say about what's been going on this offseason. But when we come back, man, we got the latest from our GM, the Mariners GM, Justin Hollander. He's got a lot to say about this team, about Cal, about all that's going on. Colt Emerson. It was an active weekend, not a great one, but an active weekend. We got lots more to do when we come back here. You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
He is one of the most anticipated prospects in Mariners history.
Here comes Colt Emerson.
He's out there right now wearing number 4 over at third base.
The Mariners' top-ranked prospect and 4th-ranked overall in baseball.
Is Colt Emerson the spark the Mariners offense needs?
We want to do the right thing for Colt. We also want to do the right thing for the Mariners. We think he's the best option.
Complete coverage at seattlesports.com.
Really hone in on the winning aspects of the game.
And the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Hey, when was the last time you inspected your crawl space or your attic? What's the last time you went in there just to see what kind of shape they're in? Oh, never? Yeah, same. I don't want to go in there. Most homeowners completely avoid those areas, but it is important to check on them regularly. It's why you call Crawl Pros. They'll come out and go where you don't want to. Hey, it's Mike Salk here. And yes, when Crawl Pros came out to my place, they realized we had a little problem with our insulation. So they've set about fixing it, and they did a great job. But if you've got the same problem, they'll also look to see what kind of energy rebates are available. Right now, local utility companies are incentivizing homeowners to make their home more energy efficient with proper insulation. And some homes qualify for several $1,000s in savings with these utility rebate programs. So don't just assume your crawl space and attic are in great condition. Do what I did. Call Crawl Pros today and schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection and find out if you've got water intrusion, mold, rodent issues, or even damaged insulation. Schedule your crawl space and attic inspection at crawlpros.com.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit MuckleshootCasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. Our first Mark Challenge victory is Aaron McCoy from McCoy Home Solutions, yet another small business owner that took the First Mark Insurance Challenge. Aaron, what was the initiative to make that call?
I've got something worth preserving for the sake of the people that I serve and my family. So it's important to me.
What did you learn through the process?
The experience with First Mark has been highly professional, informative individuals that have helped me from personal to professional insurance, life insurance, policies, coverage, cyberspace. Things that I was afraid to approach were pretty easily approachable.
How would you say their customer service has been, Aaron?
Absolutely 10 out of 10. I just couldn't say anything higher about First Mark. They've executed very well on as many levels as I could rate them.
So if you're a small business owner that wants to take the stress of insurance off your plate, do what Aaron McCoy did for McCoy Home Solutions. Make the call to First Mark Insurance. They're your teammate that goes to work for you. FirstMarkInsurance.com.
Sebastian's shoulder injury was dramatic.
I was snowboarding down a really steep hill. I hit a tree and went straight through it and came out the other side and had torn my shoulder up.
And the pain?
The pain level was probably at a 9 and the shock level was at about a 15.
I can imagine. It even affected the simplest things.
Couldn't even put the seatbelt on in my car.
Instead of surgery, he went to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for Stem Cell Therapy, the most experienced in the Northwest with over 20,000 stem cell procedures.
It's way better. I got much better mobility. It doesn't ache as much.
Do you recommend it to people who may be considering surgery?
Absolutely. I got a lot of faith in the way that the science is developing around it, and why not heal your body with your own body?
So whether it's a hip like I had or a shoulder, elbow, ankle, wrist, knee, whatever it is, before choosing surgery, go see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
Mariners and White Sox tonight at T-Mobile. 6:40 first pitch, pregame at 5:30. Listen live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-881-8686. That's 800-881-8686. 800-881-8686.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-881-8686. That's 800-881-8686. 800-881-8686.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It hasn't been the start that we wanted for the Seattle Mariners, and a lot's been going on, right? You got Callis injury, you got Donovan going down, JP goes down the other day, but that's stuff that you just have to deal with. But the most important one to me, Curtis, is Cal. Cal came into the season coming off one of the greatest seasons, if not the greatest season we saw from a catcher. He goes to the WBC, Feels like his ego is hit a little bit, not getting the playing time that he wanted. Therefore, he doesn't get the ABs. Comes back to the team, and it was just struggling. He was 0 for 36 at one point, and we're trying to figure out what's wrong with him. There are rumors going around that, his side was hurt a bit. They did say his side was hurt, but how serious was the injury? Sounds like it was more serious than we thought it was going to be. Here's Justin Hollander on Cal and the imaging.
Callis overall is pretty positive. The imaging showed similar to slightly better than it was on the 4th when this initially popped up. We're going to shut him down for a week. He'll get a shot to help the healing. Hopefully after a week he's ready to resume baseball activities. If it needs a little longer, obviously we'll take the time it needs. I think the biggest thing is, he tried to play through this, and now we want to get it right and make sure that when he is playing in games again, he's doing so with the peace of mind that it's not going to feel something when he swings every once in a while. It's not going to feel a certain way. He's not going to feel a tinge of pain or a tightness when he tries to throw. So getting it right now, I think, is the right thing for him and for us. And hopefully we're talking about resuming baseball activities in a week or so.
Big ups to Cal for trying to fight through that injury. And obviously the more you swing, the more you're going to feel it. Just your thoughts on sitting Cal and your expectations for him once he comes back.
I think sitting Cal was the right thing to do, as tough as it is, and as important of a bat as he is in this lineup. Ultimately, you want him healthy because you rely on him every single day. And if he is not healthy, if he is not performing, then you're risking further injury to him and potentially sidelining him for even longer. I think this IL stint should have happened when he first initially got hurt, which was a couple weeks prior to this IL stint. But you could tell that when he was gutting out that 0 for 36 slump, like something wasn't right. Like there was just something bothering him. And then all of a sudden you see it in the Houston series where, he's grimacing rather noticeably. That was the biggest red flag, where it's like Cal never, ever shows any sign of pain or any sort of weakness or anything like that. And when he started wincing the way he did in that Astros series, and it's like, oh, okay, this is a serious matter that the Mariners need to address rather quickly. Sure enough, he ends up on the IL. And I think the Mariners are in a portion of their schedule bump too, where if you put him on the IL now and maybe things continue this route for however long he's back, but if the A's don't pull away in the West, or if the Rangers don't overtake you in the West, like this is not going to tank your season so much as if you were to put Cal on the IL in, say, August or September when the games ratchet up in importance.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think if the A's are up 6 games, if you weren't second in your division, maybe you feel different about this decision. I do agree with you too. If he felt something 2 or 3 weeks ago, shut him down 2 or 3 weeks ago, so we have him for the long run, which is still a lot of baseball to be played. So it looks like things are going to be good. Another injury that needs to be addressed. You got Brendan Donovan. There's Justin on him.
So he will get a PRP injection in the groin strain as well as a different injection in the adductor, again, to try and keep both things working together and get them both right. I don't have a timeline. Some will determine how he feels over the next few days. Something like 2 to 3 weeks on Brendan.
So 2 to 3 weeks. In a perfect world for me, Curtis, Emerson looks great. And we're confident. Not great. This looks serviceable. I don't expect a rookie to come up and just dominate, right, especially in the batter's box. But defensively, look good and allow Brendan to rest without feeling some pressure to come back.
Yeah, I think this is about as good of a landing spot the Mariners could find themselves in with this Brendan Donovan injury, because now you're getting a really long look at the future, at the guy who you gave a significant investment to just about a month ago. And I hope that Colt Emerson doesn't go back down after this, because if it does, then that means, he hasn't lit the world on fire or anything like that in his first go of it at the big league level. But I mean, in a perfect world, you're not experiencing that much of a drop-off from what Donovan has given you in the small amount of time that he has been available for with Colt Emerson up. Now, the text line here, 206 says, what do you do if JP needs time on the bench? He left, yesterday's game, right? And it's like, yeah, sure, but you have a guy who is a natural shortstop up who could play that spot if JP needs time on the IL. I don't know if JP's going to need any time because it's kind of that shoulder again, and that's what landed him on the IL earlier this season. So you're in a good spot at one or the other, not both, but it is a good thing you have somebody with the positional flexibility of Colt Emerson who can, if JP doesn't need time on the IL, then Emerson just plays third. If JP needs to, take a breather here, then I think you move Emerson over to short and then put, a number of guys at third.
And speaking of Emerson, it's how do you handle the situation? Now, you threw out some scenarios right there that I agree with 100%. But how do they nurture or get this young man to play at a high level? Here's Justin Hollander on doing the right thing for Colt Emerson.
We want to do the right thing for Colt. We also want to do the right thing for the Mariners. We think he's the best option. This period will give him some runway. This is not a 15 at-bat or a 20 at-bat tryout to see if he's capable of taking the job and running with it for the rest of the year. I have zero concerns that he's emotionally ready to handle it, that he's mature enough to handle the day-to-day of the major league life. He certainly has the tools and skills to go compete at this level. You never really know with a young player until they get out there and show us what they can do, but we do have all the confidence in the world that he can go take the job and run with it. And if that's how it works, that'll be great. We'll be thrilled for him and thrilled for us.
I mean, this is athletics, Ray. This is how things happen. Guys get hurt, you get an opportunity, you go in. One of the biggest stories we can think of that situation is on the higher end of this thing is Tom Brady. Bledsoe goes down with a concussion. Tom Brady comes in, he does his thing. Every opportunity I got in football was because somebody got hurt and the next guy up. So it's unfortunate for Brandon Donovan. You brought him here to move around and have that flexibility. But we knew this was going to happen eventually. Now it's about Colt just taking advantage of this situation.
Yeah, and Colt Emerson, we are still trying to find out what his ceiling is as a player, and we'll have Jim Callis on at 11 o'clock to answer some of those questions because his whole thing is prospects in baseball and following their careers and just kind of looking at their trajectories and whatnot. So we'll ask him just kind of what should we be expecting from Colt Emerson in his first go-around. I think a lot of people, Bump, whenever the Mariners call up a bat, they are worried that it's just another Jared Kelenic.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to take a while for people to kind of rid themselves of what became of Jared Kelenic in a Mariners uniform because he was so hyped, much in the same way that Colt Emerson was hyped, a top 5 prospect in baseball, drafted out of high school, has this incredible pedigree, and then Kelenic didn't live up to it. But everything I've heard from Colt Emerson and everything I've heard from people who are close to Colt Emerson is that this guy has a tremendous head on his shoulders for somebody who's just 20 years old, not even 21 yet. So I think that kind of headspace is going to help him out ultimately in order to have a successful big league career. Now, is he going to take his lumps? Sure. It seems like every great prospect has a bit of a learning curve before they finally get it down. I mean, Connor Griffin, who is 19 years old and got that huge contract from the Pirates, his batting average was below 200 for the longest time this season. Don't quite know where it's at right now, but it is not immediate for a lot of these guys. Griffin's up to 262 now. So it seems like Griffin's getting more and more comfortable at the big league level. An OPS plus of 99, 100 is league average. You're not usually going to see guys like, was it Kevin McGonigal, who got off to such a fast start, but he's kind of come back down to earth now, batting 290. He does have an on-base near 400 right now, but that batting average was sky high at one point this season. So, yeah, a bit of a learning curve for these young guys, but I'm glad the Mariners have this fallback option and rather than, getting Rivas or Connor Joe at third.
What happens with a team determines your perspective, right? Injuries, performances, decisions made by the skip and all that good stuff. All that kind of shapes who you think this team is. Now, we're almost at Memorial Day. With all that being considered, who are these Mariners now? You text us in and let us know, but we'll let you know after this break. You listen to the Bump Stacy Show on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. We got Curtis Rogers filling in.
He is one of the most anticipated prospects in Mariners history.
Here comes Colt Emerson. He's out there right now wearing number 4 over at third base.
The Mariners' top-ranked prospect and 4th-ranked overall in baseball.
Is Colt Emerson the spark the Mariners offense needs?
We want to do the right thing for Colt. We also want to do the right thing for the Mariners. We think he's the best option.
Complete coverage at SeattleSports.com.
Really hone in on the winning aspects of the game.
And the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
What's up, it's Bump here, letting you know we have some big events coming up at Silver Reef. We got Crazy Train, an Aussie tribute to the Prince of Darkness, headline Saturday, July 25th. Also, Howie Mandel, a famous comedian, returns to Silver Reef on Friday, October 9th. Tickets sold out fast last time. Make sure you get your tickets before they sell out again. But you don't have to wait until July or October to check out Silver Reef Casino Resort. Book a tee time at Loomis Trails Golf Course and spend the weekend up there. It's a hidden gem in the Northwest. Beautiful course. You can relax in deluxe rooms and enjoy a meal at the steakhouse. Watch the game and have some fun at their sports restaurant and enjoy the cantina. Authentic Mexican restaurant, burritos on point. Plenty of reasons to go up there, and I haven't even mentioned the spa yet. Book your stay at silverreefcasino.com. I love it there. It's an easy drive and well worth the trip. They also have some of the cheapest gas on the west side, so your wallet won't be mad at you at all. All you got to do is hop on the 5, exit 260, Silver Reef Casino Resort, silverreefcasino.com. That's silverreefcasino.com.
Feeling lucky? Don't miss the Lucky Spring Classic Collector Car, Truck, and Boat Auction. Saturday, June 6th at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Up to 200 collector, vintage, and classic vehicles, many going to the highest lucky bidder with absolutely no reserve. Get lucky, get local, and get in line. Visit LuckyOldCar.com for a list and pictures of auction vehicles. Or call 206-467-6531 for bidding and consignment details.
Spring is a perfect time to make improvements that protect and add value to your home. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. For decades, homeowners across the Pacific Northwest have trusted our team for roofing, siding, windows, and custom decking. This spring, save up to $3,000, or qualified homeowners can take advantage of 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest up to 24 months. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule your free estimate.
The NFL schedule dropped, and it's time to settle up. There's road trips to plan, hotels to book, tickets to split, tailgates to cover, and scores to settle. All the things for the season. But now, when you send $10 or more to a friend with PayPal by May 28th, you can win 2 tickets to every home game of your favorite team. Yep, the entire season. Visit paypal.com/P2P sweeps. No purchase is necessary. See websites for details, including how to enter by mail. Brought to you by PayPal, official peer-to-peer payment sponsor of the NFL.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a hospitality manager at a 5-star hotel.
So I just checked into room 318, but someone was in there.
Room 318. Oh, you were supposed to be booked in 813, which is now booked.
So what do we do?
How about rock, paper, scissors for who gets the bed?
This is a job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Well, spring is all about getting ready for summer, isn't it? Hey, Brock Heward here. And working out in your own home, well, it is the best. We've been doing so for years. And you can allow Top Fitness to create your own home gym. And right now, get spring special financing with 0% interest for 12 months. Plus, mention me and receive an $150 credit towards any purchase over $1,000. Spring is here. So go get into Top Fitness with locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue, or simply visit topfitness.com for more info.
Compassion, communication, results. That's Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com. That's pendergastlaw.com.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
If you're struggling to hear conversations, TV, or the people you love, now there's an easier, more affordable solution without spending thousands. Audion Hearing makes high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98 with free shipping and dedicated one-on-one support in the comfort of your own home. No doctor's offices, no pressure. Clearer hearing delivered right to your door. Join over 1 million happy customers hearing life more clearly. Visit audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
My first car sale was from Michigan. I get this lead. This guy had been looking for this very specific truck across the whole U.S., and he's concerned about rust. And I'm like, why don't we FaceTime? I will crawl beneath the truck. I literally was on my back beneath this vehicle, showing him all the welds that he wanted to see. He agreed, put down a deposit, held the truck, flew out that night from Michigan. I picked him up at the airport. He had his cashier's check. We went through everything, and that was my first car sale. So here's the catch. If you're willing to put a limit on what you're willing to do to be a good person, to help somebody out, or to help in the community, then that limit exists. So you don't. You just do what it takes to be the type of person you want to be and to help people like you hope that they would help you. And it doesn't matter. You just do what it takes.
The Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It is May 18th. The Mariners are 22-26, third in the AL West. You got some injuries to Cal, to Donovan, to JP. Mitch has been banged up as well. We've seen Rivas out there. Colt Emerson has been called up. There's a lot of movement, lots of things going on with this team. So before the break, I asked you guys, all right, who are the Mariners now? And 206 has an interesting description, Curtis. Tell me what you think about this.
Okay.
So the Mariners at this point are flashes of brilliance and a tsunami of disappointment.
Tsunami. Tsunami seems like total destruction.
Yeah.
Like they will continue to be this way throughout the entirety of the season. I think if we look back on the end of the season, they don't make the playoffs or they're like not even above 500, then I think you could use the tsunami of disappointment. I think you do kind of have to keep it realistic with your expectations. Like even the best teams this year in the American League have still not been that great. Like the Yankees, I think, have been the most consistent, but the rest of the AL has been pretty bad for the most part.
Have you ever driven a stick shift?
Yes.
All right. So a lot of people, especially young folks, don't drive sticks anymore.
Right.
But when you learn to drive a stick, it's like you can get to the next gears, but it can be rough getting to them gears.
Shaky,
man.
yeah.
Shaky. You're grinding the gears. It's not smooth. That's the way I see this team right now, is that they're capable of getting to that next gear, but it's never easy. It's easy for a little bit. You figure it out, gears 1 to 2. You try to get 2 to 3, and you're grinding. Your RPMs aren't up. It just feels like it ain't smooth yet. And you throw in the injuries and what's going on. You got Kirby, who had some command issues to start the game. The velocity was on point. I mean, I believe he hit 99 or something at some point yesterday. So it's just they're not transitioning to the next gear smoothly. And then you know what happens when you do that? You got to put that thing in neutral, start all over, and try to get through the game. They're just not smooth transitions right now when I look at this team.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair comparison because, yeah, there are some great transitions where you're getting it up to 20, you're getting it up to 30. And, you know, we saw them win that series in Houston, take 3 of 4 from them, swept the Astros earlier this season, win 4 of 4 from them. And then both of those series were followed immediately by a sweep at the hands of the Padres,
right,
which just that throws everything back to square one. You have undone all the work that you have done for yourselves to help dig yourselves out, and you just can't get over that 500 barrier and just kind of get back to being a winning ball club. Like, you have been so close to catching the A's in the AL West here in the season's really going, but just every single time it's back to square one.
You're on flat land, you hit that hill. Trying to change gears on that hill, you better be on point. Okay, well, if you keep texting in, 866-979-3776. Who is this team to you? Here's this team in the eyes of Justin Hollander.
Not at all.
Here he's asked, does he know who this team is?
I think that, we have a group of really talented, hardworking, dedicated players who prepare in the right way, and we need to find a way to translate that into sort of more competitive series to series wins. We I don't think it's a talent issue. I don't think it's a work ethic issue, but I do think that everyone in our clubhouse and our coaching staff and our front office would say that, we're not where we want to be or should be right now. And we need to figure out how to translate all those positive traits into more series wins right now.
So 253, he took this stat from Salk. I heard Salk open the show up with this one. Said outside of Houston, the Mariners are 15-25, playing .375 ball. They are a bad team. Are they a bad team?
They're not a good one right now. I'll say that. Like, it has not been fun to watch night in and night out when you know that they are slumping the way that they are, and they just kind of feel disjointed. Like, it just doesn't feel like anybody is playing comfortably. Even the guys that have consistently been the producers or the guys that have been, the dominant pitchers. I mean, heck, even George Kirby going into last night was probably the Mariners' best pitcher so far this season. He didn't have it last night. Gavin Sheets hit that home run off of him in the first, smoked that one into the seats, and then everything kind of fell apart in, the fifth inning yesterday. Even the guys who have been good, they have had some pretty, disappointing performances. Bryan Wu had that 2-start stretch. Against Kansas City and I forget which other team where, he was giving up a ton of home runs. Like, even the guys that you are banking on or have banked on in the past that have shown you how good they can be when everything is clicking, they've had disappointments to start this season. So it is really hard to figure out who this Mariners team can be. What they want to be, I think, is a team that hits home runs. I think is a team that pitches great. Unfortunately, the defense has not been there for them this season, so the run prevention has not been what it has been in the past. Maybe bring up Colt Emerson is what can help there. Maybe moving Brendan Donovan to the outfield and kind of moving Randy Arozarena around a little bit. Maybe that's something that can help the defense out somewhat, but it just feels disjointed, Bump. It feels like this team just can't get out of their own way right now.
Yeah, it doesn't. I like the flashes of dominance because there are times where we see Naylor get in the zone. Arozarena is probably one of the better hitters on this team. Luke Raley has had his moments. Julio was hot for 2 weeks or something like that. Like, you see the potential of this team, but as soon as I saw George start to struggle, I'm like, yeah, this is going to be a tough one because the bats ain't doing what they're supposed to be doing at this point. And there's only been a couple games this year, Curtis, where I felt like if one side struggled, the other side picked it up. So that's where I get the stick shift metaphors, because it's never smooth, or it's hardly smooth. It's smooth for a little bit, and then something happens, and the injuries just don't help. All teams deal with injuries, but I feel like when this team gets injured, we feel it a bit more than the top dogs.
Yeah, and I think especially because of the guys who have been injured too. I mean, Cal is the most important player on this roster, and you're going to feel that. Yeah, and people are like, oh, well, Cal's been mostly a negative this season, like hasn't been hitting it at all, like he has a negative WAR and whatnot. And it's like, do you realize that, like, what a healthy Cal Raleigh does to this lineup, what a healthy Cal Raleigh does to the pitching staff, like what a healthy Cal Raleigh does to everything? Like, it puts everything back in its place. It puts everything back in order. It allows the lineup to have a much more protection, guys sitting around him. Pitchers still, I think, are in the back of their mind when they see Cal Raleigh in the dish. They're like, this guy once hit 60 home runs, and not too far long ago. Like, he was a guy that last year was maybe the most feared hitter in all of baseball. You lose that presence in your lineup, that's going to have an impact. And yeah, the Mariners, I think, have been hurt maybe the most by the injuries they've had this year, more than any team in all of baseball, because of just the importance of what these guys are to the lineup. Brendan Donovan was brought in to be an everyday player. He has been a part-time player. Not, to say that was the plan, but it's just his availability has been mostly not there. And what do you do in those instances? Last year, it did feel like they had a little bit more reinforcements with guys being able to pick up the slack for guys who were hurt. Like Luke Raley missed a lot of last year, but you just never really felt that absence at any point. Whereas this year, guys are getting hurt, and you're feeling it a little bit more.
With all that being said, Curtis, 22-26, only 2 games behind the A's, 1 game behind the Rangers. So let's see if they can turn a corner here. All right, more baseball when we return. We'll be joined by MLB Pipeline senior writer Jim Callis. That's coming up next on the Bump and Stacy Show. We got Curtis Rogers filling in.
Have you downloaded the Seattle Sports app?
We're going to have a challenge right here.
What are you waiting for?
Listen to this.
Every pitch.
Here comes the 3-2.
Every game.
Swung on and missed. Got him.
One app for free.
How about that, folks?
The Seattle Sports app. Every game.
Julio racing back.
Right in the palm of your hands.
Makes a leap and makes the catch.
Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcasts.
They got it. Wow.
The Seattle Sports app.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Roger. Roger, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
Over the last several years, my homeowner's insurance policies just kept on going up and up and up. For years, it was $1,100. Last year, it was $2,500. And this year, $5,000. That's what got me to call First Mark Insurance.
Were they able to save you any money?
Absolutely. Within a couple of days, came up with a proposal that blew my socks off. It was an amazing amount of reduction in cost.
Did they improve your coverage while saving you all that money?
They did both. The coverage is better and the cost is substantially less. It's half as much as I was paying last year. I recommend First Mark to anyone who is looking to get better coverage at less cost.
Well, Roger did it, my family did it, and you got to do it, and it's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge and see how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. First Mark Insurance. They work for you.
Stacy here. Sell your car to Wayscar Ford, and when they resell it, they share half their profit with you. That's right. Sell your car to Wayscar Ford, Isuzu, and Auburn. They'll pay you today for your car, and once they resell it, they'll share half their profit with you. WayscarFord.com.
Spring is here, Seattle, and now is the smartest time to replace your roof. Trust your neighbors at 3 Tree Roofing, a local, family-owned company that knows how to roof in Washington weather year-round. Schedule your free estimate today at 3treeroofing.com to take advantage of spring pricing, shorter wait times, and get $500 off your new roof before the summer rush hits. Our experts come to you, build a clear plan, and give you an estimate that same day. No surprises and no high-pressure sales tactics. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
The warm weather has me thinking about summer plans. Stacy here to add one thing to the top of your list. Book a demo and check out the brand new all-electric wake boat from ARC. I got a ride in a brand new ARC Sport, and it was like a luxury EV on the water. Quiet, powerful, easy to operate, and low maintenance. They're doing demos in Lake Union, Lake Washington, and Lake Sammamish. Honestly, if I could drive one of these to work, I would. Schedule your demo at arcboats.com/demo. If you can't make it out to Kirkland, they'll pick you up. arcboats.com/demo.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KRS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KRS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KRS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KRS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. Donate your car today. Digging in my yard, trying to lay a pipe. I hit a water line and now I have to pay a big fine. I should have called 811.
Hey, it's John Curley with my friend Bob Stelton. And Bob, just like me, you had a hip problem. You were recommended surgery. Why did you go see Dr. Wagner first?
I was walking around at about an 8 pain level. I couldn't walk that far before the pain would kick in, and it was impacting my workouts and just really impacting my day-to-day stuff.
So you had stem cell on your hip. How does it feel now?
I can do a lot of things I could not do prior to this procedure, and I feel like I've gotten back to being who I was prior to the injuries, which was somebody who's very active, loves being out there outside when the weather's great, being on the motorcycle, sparring in jiu-jitsu, working out. I can do all of those things now. And I've had friends that have gone to see Dr. Wagner. They had the same experience, whether they were dealing with a hip, a knee, an elbow, a shoulder. Everybody walking out of there feels like, why didn't I do this sooner?
Before you choose surgery, do what Bob and I did. Go see Dr. Mark Wagner first. DrMarkWagnerMD.com. DrMarkWagnerMD.com.
Under these arches, opposing teams are put to the test. Can they hear themselves over the boom of the 12s? Can they withstand the Seattle elements? Can they compete against us?
Touchdown! Seahawks!
This city lives for Sunday. Get your tickets for Seahawks game days at Lumen Field and experience what this city lives for. Visit Seahawks.com today.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners are looking to bounce back tonight against the hot White Sox after being swept by the Padres. First pitch is at 6:40. We got Bryan and Wu on the mound. The Western Conference Finals begins tonight with OKC taking on Wemby and the Spurs. And we have a Game 7 in the NHL. Buffalo force a winner-go-home game against Montreal. Puck drops at 4:30. And congrats to Aaron Rye, becoming the first English-born player to win the PGA Championship since 1919.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
This is the Bump and Stacy Show. We got Curtis Rogers filling in for Stacy, but I'm still here. We're joined now by MLB Pipeline senior writer Jim Callis. Jim, how we doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
We're good, man. Thanks for having us, man. To start this season, there are high expectations for the Mariners, and I was nervous for them. It's like when my daughter first made the A team on her soccer team. I'm like, man, it's gonna be different stuff for you, baby girl. Like, can you handle this? And she stumbled a bit, and then she found her footing and started to excel a little bit. I'm still waiting for that with the Mariners. They've stumbled a bit. They've shown some potential. Just how do you feel about this team overall as we get into this long weekend?
I still feel good about the Mariners. I still think they're the best team in the American League West. I don't think, like you said, that they've gotten off to their best start. But the nice thing is nobody's really running away with anything in the American League West. I think, the A's are 500 and they're in first place by 2 games. I still would take the Mariners over everybody else in that division. I mean, Cal Raleigh's got to be better than he has been. I don't think they've had a lot of their, offensive players have necessarily had the seasons we've expected out of them. The pitching still looks strong to me. And, Jerry DePoto's not going to rest. He's going to make some moves. And they have some players in their farm system coming, one of whom got promoted yesterday in Colt Emerson. So they got a lot more talent, I think, than the other teams in their division. I think everything will be fine. And I think they're fortunate, like I said, that even though they haven't gotten off to a good start, nobody else really has either.
Yeah, Jim, you mentioned Colt Emerson's promotion yesterday. Kind of a necessity with Brendan Donovan going down. But you and all sorts of people who watch prospects across baseball have years of experience watching Colt Emerson, where I think a lot of Mariners fans, we've heard a lot about him, haven't exactly gotten to watch him day to day, but what are some traits of his that have really stood out to you during his time in minor league baseball?
I think there's a couple things. I mean, I think the most obvious thing when you're talking about Colt Emerson, and it's the reason he was a first-round pick, and it's the reason he raced for the big leagues and got to Seattle before he turned 21, is the hitting ability. I mean, the hitting ability stands out the most. But, it's always going to sound kind of funny. Hopefully it'll make some sense. He was a first-round pick, so he was obviously very highly regarded. But when guys are first-round picks and they're better in pro ball than they were as amateurs, that's always eye-opening. And everybody always knew Colt Emerson could hit and that power would come. But I think he's a lot better defender than people thought. When he was coming out of high school in Ohio, people talked like, okay, this guy's going to definitely be a third baseman in the long run. And now the guy, he's playing third base for Seattle, in his immediate position. but he's a quality defender at shortstop, and he'll eventually take over for J.P. Crawford probably next year. But I think it's the fact that he's lived up to everything that we expected offensively and been better athletically and defensively. Isn't it? That's what makes him one of the very best prospects in all of baseball.
Bunch of injuries for the Mariners right now. Cal, JP, you got Donovan as well. So naturally, people are looking to just how they're going to move some things around, right? And obviously, bringing Colt Emerson helps that. But the Mariners have been known to have a great farm system. Is there anybody else you feel like we could see at some point this year for the Mariners?
Yeah, I mean, they don't have an opening for him right now, so they can give a little bit of time. But Cade Anderson, I think, could probably pitch in the big leagues right now. You know, he was number 3 pick in last year's draft. The Mariners really, they won the lottery to be able to pick third, which was a big coup. And then the Mariners thought he was the best player in the draft. They didn't really think they were going to have much of a shot to get him at number 3, and they still did. And, it's not, when you're talking about lefties, this isn't Randy Johnson. He's not going to throw 98. He's not going to have a wipeout slider. But Cade Anderson has 4 solid or better pitches, throws a ton of strikes, and is really polished. And, he's carved up, he went straight to AA for his pro debut. He's got a 1.85 ERA. Opponents are hitting 178 against him. He's got a 51-5 strikeout to walk ratio. And I do think at some point, after Trey Savage last year, we constantly got asked, and we weren't the only people, but I wrote a story at one point, okay, who could be the Trey Savage of 2026? And I said at the time, the most obvious guy to me was Cade Anderson, just because he was joining a team that obviously got very close to going to the World Series even without him. And he's just so advanced. He was so good. He was part of a national championship at LSU. He pitched a 1-0 shutout without his best control and command in the College World Series finals. He's very, very good. So he's the most obvious guy of guys who could come up and help at some point this year. They do continue to have a deep farm system, and they have other guys in AA. Ryan Sloan isn't pitching as well. Lazaro Montes has got a lot of power. Michael Arroyo can really hit. And, and it's also possible that we'll see some of those guys, use this trade bait because they do have a deep farm system.
Jim, when you look at guys who are kind of on the verge of being called up, are there specific things that you're looking for? Because a lot of these guys do put up big numbers at the minor league level, but there's obviously a transition going from the minors to the major leagues. Are there any specific things you watch for in a prospect? Like, this guy's going to do this well, so I think that'll translate to the big league level. What are you looking for in guys that are kind of nearing that big league call-up?
Yeah, one thing I think that usually gives you a decent indication of how, easily they're going to make that transition, because it is a big jump whether you're coming from AA or AAA. And, I think nerves sometimes play a part with guys too, but I think a player's ability to control the strike zone, whether he's a pitcher or a hitter, it gives you some indication of, okay, how well is he, because look, you can have guys with great physical talent who are, hitting 450-foot home runs, but then they might be striking out left and right too, and they're not necessarily going to be conducive to success. I look at a guy like Colt Emerson, and, the strikeouts for him were up a little bit, but he's always a guy who's controlled the strike zone very well. So I'm not worried about him. I just mentioned Cade Anderson's got a 51-5 strikeout to walk ratio. I mean, he's always pounded the strike zone. That's showing you that he's missing bats and he's not walking anybody. So that's one thing I'll look at. Some of those other guys we talked about, Ryan Sloan's a very talented pitching prospect. He got off to a little bit of a slow start, but he's been pitching better recently. Lazaro Montes is a guy, and I wasn't singling him out when I made my earlier comment, but Lazaro can hit the ball great distances, but he's also struck out, roughly 30% of the time in AA, which is, why he still needs more development time. But that's one thing that I tend to look at for prospects and when they're going to get called up and how ready they'll be when they get there.
We got a piggyback situation going on over here in Seattle. Castillo hasn't had the best year, and Bryce Miller them are gonna have that piggyback situation. Do you feel this is the right move, and how patient would you be with Castillo?
Yeah, I think you have to be, because he's been so good. Again, I think the fact that nobody's run away with the division has bought them some time. But yeah, I would kind of again, that's a way to kind of ease Bryce Miller back in as well. We're not, we're in May. The next month is June. It's not October. So I don't have to have these guys primed for the playoffs. I mean, not that I think Seattle can coast in the AL West, although I do honestly think they're going to win it fairly easily. But I think you can use these next, we still have 4 months of the regular season. So, yes, you need to win the division and go from there. But I also think you can use it to find out, okay, who can we depend on in the postseason? I mean, they're more fortunate than most teams where now that Bryce is back, they've got 6 viable big league starters. And as I mentioned, I mean, I think Cade Anderson is there when they need him too. I wonder if we'll see Cade Anderson promoted to Tacoma sooner rather than later, just to get him a little bit more, prepared. But, at this point, if all 6 guys were pitching well, leave Cade Anderson out of it, you're only using 4 guys as starters in the postseason. So I think they can take some time to figure that out. Now, if we get to, let's say, at the end of July and Castillo's ERA is still over 6 and maybe the Mariners aren't running away with the division, then maybe at that point, you got to say, okay, well, maybe he has to go to middle relief. But I think, he's still striking guys out. He's just, I think the command's been off. It's not like the stuff's down so far and he's not missing bats. I don't think he's that different. I don't think the stuff is too much different from what we've seen his first 3 years in Seattle. I just think the command hasn't been as sharp, and that's why he's been getting hit.
Jim, we kind of talk about the logjam that the Mariners have at starting pitching. I don't think Cade Anderson would get moved in any sort of trade, especially with how awesome he has been this year at AA Arkansas. But is there maybe a name or two in the Mariners farm system you're looking at as potential, as they could be used in a trade package as we near the trade deadline? We are getting closer to June. That's kind of when the market starts to take a little bit of shape here. Are there any names that you look at as ones that could be on the move?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair point about Cade Anderson. I don't think they would trade him. I don't think they'd trade Ryan Sloan necessarily unless, it was a superstar type deal and they were like, we hate to part with Ryan Sloan. But beyond those guys, I think any of them could be in play. I mean, again, we're talking Jerry DiPoto here. He makes trades. He's not afraid to trade prospects. But, they have Lazar Montes, Michael Arroyo, Johnny Sparmello are all top 100 prospects. Guys like Feldman Celestin and Luke Stevenson aren't far behind. Nick Becker was a guy they drafted last year. Jorge Bautista is a really interesting guy who's in the complex league. But he has a chance to be very good, but he's also 4 years away from the big league. So I just think given Jerry's track record as a GM and the depth of the farm system, I think in the right deal, anybody could almost be had. I don't think he's just looking to trade prospects away for trade them away. But I just think he's a guy who's always looking to upgrade his team, and he's not afraid to make moves. And frankly, I mean, if I'm the Mariners, I would also kind of look at it like, look, we've done a really good job of acquiring and developing prospects recently. Not that you're just going to go trade them all, but if we trade 2, 3, 4 prospects, we're the Mariners. We'll just go find some more.
We've spoken to several analysts, and Jim, we kind of get the same thing about the Mariners. We ask, are you concerned? Like, yeah, well, they're not playing well, but we still think they're going to be able to win their division. Would there be more concern if they were in a different division, or do you feel like their talent will just rise to the top regardless?
I do think their talent will rise to the top. I think they're the most talented team in the division. I think the A's may be plucky, but the Astros aren't as strong as they have been. The Rangers kind of seem to spin their wheels and stick around 500. I do think it'll play out.
Jim, one guy in the Mariners farm system that we found out this week does have an opt-out clause is Brennan Davis, former top prospect in the Cubs system. He's up in AAA right now. He's actually playing really well. So it feels like there could be a decision made on him maybe joining the Mariners 26-man roster in the coming weeks. What do you remember about him as a former top prospect, and how have you sort of evaluated his game over the years?
Yeah, I mean, he's a tough one. I mean, he was one of the best prospects in baseball. At one point, he was MVP of the Futures game, where he hit 2 home runs in the Futures game. I think that was 2021. I would have thought, at that point, he was on the verge of joining the Cubs. He just could never stay healthy. I mean, there was a lot of back problems and other injuries too. But I mean, for all his years in the Cubs system, he signed in 2018. He played 100 games in a season once, and he played exactly 100, and that was in his first year after the pandemic. And he just couldn't stay healthy. I mean, I'll be honest, I root for him. He's a super nice guy. If you guys ever get a chance to talk to him, I've probably done more Brennan Davis trying to come back from injury stories that I'd like, because you don't like to see a guy injured that much. But, a talented player. I think when he was younger, you kind of looked at him as a potential 30-30 guy. And I think as he's gotten older and he's gotten back problems, I think he's more of a corner guy, maybe not quite as quick as he used to be. But, the guy put up good numbers in the Yankee system last year. Unfortunately, he missed 2/3 of the minor league season with injuries again. And he's putting up good numbers in Tacoma, which, while it's the PCL, you guys know, Tacoma is not a bandbox like a lot of the PCL teams are, especially on the West Coast. So there's some talent there. I just hope he stays healthy and gets a chance to show what he could do, because it's hard for me to believe. I think he's 26 years old now, and he's never played in the big leagues. I honestly thought he was on the verge of the big leagues 5 years ago.
Jim, last one for me. Mariners taking on the White Sox. The last time we saw the White Sox, we go into the series thinking, okay, you should handle this. Lose the series 2 games out of 3. But since then, these guys are 7-1. How serious are they? And then what have you seen in Chicago?
Yeah, they obviously set a record for losses 2 years ago. But they also, they traded Garrett Crochet. They had some early draft picks. They've infused a lot of young talent into that team, whether it's Colson Montgomery or Kyle Teal and Edgar Quero. And, they promoted Noah Schultz and others. I think it's a team on the rise. I don't think they're really necessarily going to contend this year. The AL Central is not the most formidable division. I think it's more that they're going to get, that they have become respectable, and they have more young players coming over the next couple of years. They have a number of top 100 prospects. So, yeah, I think you identified it correctly. They've gone, I think, from, okay, we're playing the White Sox. The question is, are we going to win the series or are we going to sweep them? Like which of the two? And now it's like, man, this is, now a battle. We're going to have to, play well to beat these guys, because they have infused a lot of young talent and they've gotten a lot better.
All right, he's MLB Pipeline senior writer Jim Callis. Jim, we appreciate your time, man.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, no problem. Take care, guys.
All right, let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game. What former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
All right, Bump, first down to you. Who has been rumored to be a potential roster cut that surprises you?
Yo, I saw this. And you read different articles from different outlets and stuff, and people have opinions and they're drawing stuff. And I'm like, all right, let me see. So Jay Reed has been rumored to be a potential cut. So I went to my resources. I said, man, what do you think about this situation I'm hearing about? And my guy says he's due to make $6 million in 2026, of which $2 million became fully guaranteed 5 days after the Super Bowl. And $6 million isn't a crazy amount of number who, for someone who plays 50% of the snaps. That's what I was getting at. He had a career low in snaps last year. But I think that Jay Reed is a guy that you want around. They did draft a young man, Leighton Eastern. We'll see what he looks like. He's supposed to be a dog. We got Mike McDonald, who loves him as well. But if you were to cut Jay Reed, I think that'd be a mistake. The Hawks still have some cap space to deal with. It's not like they're struggling in that department, but he's part of the identity of this defense. And there's a lot of personality on this defense. Every level has their couple of guys. I think Jay Reed is important to this situation here. Entering his 11th season in the league, you don't need him to play every single down. $6 million ain't a lot when it comes to a cap hit. So I was surprised to hear the rumors. I don't think it's going to go down, but if it does, that means that Devin Eastern has done a great job impressing Mike McDonald.
Well, I would feel like, too, there'd be a lot of pushback in that locker room,
for
letting
sure.
go of Jaron Reed, because he is beloved by everybody on that defensive side of the ball. That would be a stunner, especially considering how important locker room chemistry was to the 2025 Seahawks. I don't know if they'd want to ruin that. 26. Second down. Bob, why do you think the NFL decided to pit the Seahawks and Patriots against each other, Super Bowl rematch in Week 1?
So here's a little bit of history. For some reason in my mind, I thought that there had been so many Week 1 Super Bowl rematches. There only been 2. Panthers and Broncos in 2016, and then the Vikings and Chiefs in 1917. But there have been, since 2016, 4 other Super Bowl rematches somewhere in the season. In 2017, the Patriots and the Falcons played in Week 7. In 2023, the Eagles and Chiefs played in Week 11. In 2024, the Niners and the Chiefs played in Week 7. And in 2025, the Chiefs and the Eagles played in Week 2. This is why they're doing it. You know why they're doing it, Curtis. All the drama that's surrounding the Patriots right now. So we have an opportunity. Last year, week 2, when the Chiefs and the Eagles squared up, 33 million people viewed that. So they have an opportunity right now to grab another 5 million people who don't even watch football for real, but have been following what's been going on with the Patriots. I think also, obviously, Super Bowl matchup, you want to kind of ride the wave. But when you have some drama kind of fueling what's going on, you have so many eyes on the Patriots that would not have been even remotely dialed in at all what's going on over there because of the drama. Say what you want about the NFL. They know what they're doing with this scheduling. Yes, it's a Super Bowl rematch. Yes, you want to see two potentially good teams go at it, but there's a drama behind it as well. NFL, you are not slick. They will not come out there and say it. They will say, look, we just saw an opportunity for 2 good teams to go at it, but we know what's driving this.
Third down. Bump, why are you okay with Urban Meyer? Haven't heard that name in a while. Losing his grievance case against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
My man was trying to get $30 million. What? $30 million.
Back pay?
And you know who showed up to testify against him? His kicker, a long snapper, and like a punter or something like that.
The guys he was like kicking and shoving?
He goes up to the kicker during practice and say, hey, MFer, make your kicks. And kicks him. And the kicker said, responded to him, don't you ever kick me like that again. And Urban Meyer says, I'm the head ball coach. I'll do what I want to do. This is not Florida. This is not 2006, 2007, 8, 9, whenever you were there. These are grown men playing in the NFL. Then also, he skipped out on the team flight going back home. We saw him caught up with his side piece. It's just, come on, Urban. Like, you got to let this one go. Everything on paper says you are not a good person. And also, it's crazy that he's going at his special teams guys like that. He started off in special teams. That's how Urban Meyer got his claim to fame, was being a special team coach. And then Utah takes a chance at you out of Bowling Green. Like, come on, Urban, man, just let this thing go. I understand why he would try to get that money. It's $30 million. You're going to leave that on the table. But it doesn't seem like he deserves this one.
Is this the only scenario in which you, Michael Bumpus, hater of kickers, would stand up for a kicker?
I'm standing up. I stood up for Myers when he made 6 field goals, too. Super Bowl, all right? But, yes, you can't be kicking nobody, man. What are you doing, Myers?
It only took a historic performance in the Super Bowl for you to defend kickers.
And John Ryan. I love John Ryan.
And John Ryan.
Always love John.
I love that. 4th down. New OC here in Seattle for the 3rd consecutive season. Had some good and some bad, but Brian Fleury now taking over. So what do you think will be the best part about this Fleury offense?
I think A.J. Barner is going to be officially a top 3 tight end in the game.
Wow.
Top 3. In this offense, he will see targets. In 11 games played last year, George Kittle, 57 targets for 628 yards and 7 touchdowns. You look at what A.J. did last year, played all 17 games, 52 receptions on 68 targets, 519 yards, and 6 touchdowns. If he gets the targets that George Kittle got and over the past several years, if Fleury brings that style of offense to Seattle, this will be the year that A.J. Barner makes himself one of the guys. Now, we know he's a guy. He's a route runner. He loves to block, plays with intensity, big personality, will make the big catch. But now it's time for the rest of the NFL to recognize exactly who A.J. Barner is. If he is used the same way that Kittle was used, he will be a top 3, top 4 tight end in the game when it comes to numbers. You look at his abilities, I say he's already about top 5 array. He can run routes, he can do everything you're asking a tight end to do. But now it's time for the world, Craig.
The world.
To recognize exactly who our guy A.J. Barner is.
Are Seahawks fans ready for an elite tight end potentially? Because last time there was one like that here, he got a bad rap for what he did. But yeah. I think Barner is a much more well-rounded tight end than Jimmy Graham, where Jimmy was an incredible receiving threat, but don't ask him to block.
No.
Don't ask him to get dirty.
Nah, Jimmy Graham was that dude on your basketball team who should play in the paint, but wanted to be in the perimeter all the time. Like, come on, you big. We need rebounds. You got to get dirty. Jimmy was not about that life.
Jaron Jackson Jr.
Yes.
Where Triple J is like 7 feet tall, but only gets like 3 rebounds a game.
Exactly.
It's like, how are you that tall and only get 3 boards a game? That makes no sense.
You got to get dirty. So, AJ, this is your year.
Elbows.
This is your year, baby. Go ahead and
box out
and let people know. Box out, grab boards, and we'll hit you on the outlet, and you'll get your points too at the same time.
There we go.
All right. We got more to do when we come back, man. We'll visit the timeline. Blazers owner, Cheap. You already know that. He's going to explain some things there. Netflix, man, they had an event this weekend. Ronda Rousey disappointing? I want your thoughts on that. And lots more to do, man. It's the Dad Podcast today. I'm here, Michael Bumpus, with my guy, Curtis Rogers. The timeline is coming up next. You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
He is one of the most anticipated prospects in Mariners history.
Here comes Colt Emerson.
He's out there right now wearing number 4 over at third base.
The Mariners' top-ranked prospect and 4th-ranked overall in baseball.
Is Colt Emerson the spark the Mariners offense needs?
We want to do the right thing for Colt. We also want to do the right thing for the Mariners. We think he's the best option.
Complete coverage at seattlesports.com.
Really hone in on the winning aspects of the game.
And the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
For 24 years, Sea-Star Restaurant in Ron Bar has been Bellevue's and my go-to for fresh seasonal seafood. And my good friend, Chef John Howie, is behind every plate.
Hey, thanks, Brock. You know, springtime is the best time for fresh, wild Pacific Northwest salmon. At Sea-Star, we go from Columbia River King, my personal favorite, to the Copper River King in May.
So whether it is a date night, whether it's a business dinner, or you're craving the very best wild salmon, go visit John Howie at Sea-Star in Bellevue. Visit Sea-Star in Bellevue.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for honest pricing, expert service, and guaranteed repairs. This dedication has earned them a Carfax Preferred designation. At Bucky's, every customer gets detailed Carfax updates, timely service reminders, and a full service history, all at your fingertips. With 16 family-owned locations, no appointment needed, and easy financing, Bucky's makes auto care simple. Visit Bucky's.com today and drive with confidence. Bucky's.com.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it. Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of essentials. Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
This deer season, John Deere wants to give you the home field advantage. We're bringing you the best offers of the season, whether that's cash off on select new machines or a shot at the ultimate Major League Baseball prize package. Because right now, you can enter for a chance to win an MLB All-Star experience for you and 3 friends, complete with travel and lodging for All-Star Week this July. Deer season is going on now through June 3rd. Visit johndeere.com/deer season to enter and view the offers and complete contest rules. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
Earn an accredited MBA in as few as 16 months for about $21K at University of Maryland Global Campus. Explore 10 specializations, including finance, HR, cyber technology, and more. Plus, showcase the value of your MBA with a comprehensive learner record and digitally demonstrate in-demand skills and credentials to employers. No application fee if you apply by June 1st. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Shell.
Under these arches, opposing teams are put to the test. Can they hear themselves over the boom of the 12s? Can they withstand the Seattle elements? Can they compete against us?
Touchdown, Seahawks!
This city lives for Sunday. Get your tickets for Seahawks game days at Lumen Field and experience what this city lives for. Visit Seahawks.com today.
Mariners and White Sox tonight at T-Mobile. 6:40 first pitch, pregame at 5:30. Listen live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
They say teachers don't impact for a year, but for a lifetime.
Hi, this is Rick Riz. Join WSECU, your local credit union, as we celebrate those who give so much with the Teacher of the Week program. Nominate a teacher you feel has changed a life in our community. Each week throughout the season, we'll honor one teacher with a $500 grant, courtesy of WSECU. Teachers are the real MVPs. Find out more and nominate a teacher at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Around the Diamond is sponsored by Klein Jewelers.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
Curtis Rogers in for Stacy. It's time for The Timeline. Let's get it. New Blazers owner Tom Dundon tried to explain some of his penny pitching ways on the latest edition of the Ringers Game Over with Max Kellerman and Rich Paul. Dundon first explains why he didn't let the Portland employees do late checkout for their playoff games.
The hotel story with the staff is an interesting story, I think, because normally when you travel, you get late checkout, right? In this case, in sports, it's usually like 5% and never comes up. We went because it was last minute going to Phoenix. There was no hotels. I guess Phoenix in March is a pretty popular place. So had trouble getting hotels. And the hotel really wanted us to be out early because they needed the rooms. And so they wanted us to pay for a second night. And so we did that for the coaches and the players, but we got them to let us leave at 1:00. And I had a room at the hotel. I was there. So I'm like, lunch starts at 1:45. We have a huge ballroom with this really nice lunch for everybody. So I said, look, we'll do the players and the coaches. We'll stay. We'll pay the extra night. For the staff, we've got this big ballroom with food. We'll go down there and work. And everyone was down there. I was down there. I actually learned a lot during that hour because I got to talk to some of the training staff, et cetera.
With the explanation, it doesn't sound as bad to me anymore. Yeah. I thought you were having your roster, guys who are going to be on the court and perform for you, have to get the boot a bit early, not have late checkout. I think he could afford the day, and I think that he should have paid for his employees to have late checkout. But after hearing it, it makes a bit more sense, and I'm glad it wasn't the players who couldn't get late checkout.
One of the worst things about traveling is the early checkout, and you're just stuck with your luggage with you all day long. You have to take it with you wherever you go, and it's like my flight's not till late tonight, and I got to check out at 11 a.m., and my flight doesn't leave here till 7 p.m. Where am I going to put my luggage? Like, this is awful. I hate this. That is a big inconvenience. I don't like that for Blazers employees. Dundon, his explanation does paint a clear picture. What I don't get, though, is him being surprised at the difficulty of finding hotel space in Phoenix in the month of March, where I don't know if you know this, but spring training's going on. You got like 15 or 16 ball clubs and all their fans taking up the hotels in the Phoenix area during that time of the year. That's not much of a surprise to a lot of people. So I guess maybe he should have planned ahead. Maybe he wasn't even planning on his team making the playoffs.
Probably not.
Because, I mean, the Blazers have been pretty bad for like 3 or 4 years now. Yeah. This year they kind of put it together.
A little bit. All right, then he discusses how the Blazers spend considerably more on non-essential things than other franchises he owns, like the NHL's Carolina Hurricanes.
My friends make fun of me all the time. They tell me how bad I am at being rich. And, you know, like, I just don't want to waste money. I want to invest it. I'll have as many masseuse. I'll have the best food. We're going to take care of the players because it helps you win. It's part of the deal. Some of the stuff about how we're going to run the business. Portland spends $100 million more a year on their business than the Hurricanes do, not including players. The Hurricanes, since I bought the team, have the first or second best record in the league. So I'm just not going to waste $100 million just because somebody wants to write our article calling me cheap. I'm just not going to do it. And so it's hard because I don't think about a budget when it comes to the playing team and how to make sure we win.
Look, he's making a bit more sense to me. He's making a bit more sense to me. If he's spending over $100 million in most teams, and what teams are we talking about? Are we talking Memphis?
He's comparing his spending. He's comparing the spending inherited with the Blazers to what his Carolina Hurricanes have spent historically. Now, I don't think it's fair to have each organization spend the same amount because the NBA is bringing way more money than your NHL team.
Uh-huh.
I think the NBA team deserves to have a little bit more spending flexibility than your NHL team just based off of the amount of money that they are bringing in. Like, these are I think if you look at the spending as investments made into making this thing run smoother, then ultimately you are going to want to continue at least keeping up some of that spending on, non-essential stuff. I just think, saying, well, my NHL team, we spend X amount. It's like, okay, but then look at the valuations of those teams. I imagine his Carolina Hurricanes team is probably worth, like $1.5 to $2 billion, whereas the Blazers he just purchased for $4.25 billion. Like, I think you're going to need to maybe not spend the same amount to operate each.
Here's what I can agree with. There are always ways to save money. I'm not saying that he should just pay for anything and everything and run the franchise into the ground. But like you said, the Portland Trail Blazers and Carolina are two totally different things, right?
Yeah.
I don't know the logistics of each either, right? And I know that they go on the road in the NHL, they play a bunch of games, so does NBA teams. But you're right, NBA grabs just a lot more eyes, a lot more attention. So why not spend a little more? I don't know what his books look like, obviously 100%, but he's making more sense. I just don't know how much sense he's making because I don't know the numbers, right? It's hard for me to jump on him when I'm like, I don't know the numbers. I just don't like him comparing that team to his NHL team because of all the things that you mentioned there. All right, he said, look, he didn't buy the Trailblazers to move him.
When I bought the Hurricanes, all I heard was, because I was from Texas, we were going to move the team to Houston. Moving a team's difficult. We didn't move the Hurricanes. We ended up getting a deal done. We went through the same thing in Portland. Before I even bought the team, I had an agreement with the city and the state. We had an agreement in principle. They've already approved half of it. Assuming that all gets done, then this is a non-story. So, for me, it's never been really a thing. You didn't buy the team to move it.
All right, I believe him.
I mean, you can only take him at his word for now, but it does feel like there's a lot of hemming and hawing between the Blazers and the state of Oregon and the city of Portland and all that as to what they're going to do with the Moda Center down there. Who knows if they're – and I think a lot of people want Tom Dundon to kind of take up the renovation of that arena all by himself. I think he was able to get – like almost $1 billion of public money, just like if this thing were to pass, that would go towards a renovation, then he would foot some of the bill as well. I just know that like a lot of people in Portland are concerned that this could spell the end of the Blazers in Portland, which is obviously, here in Seattle, we know all about franchise relocation, how terrible that is. I don't think it's to that point yet, but until there's actual progress being made towards arena solution in Portland, I don't know if you can actually believe him at his word. I also think this is a story because look, this is a team that was recently sold by the Allen family to this guy. Not to say that Tom Dundon is going to swoop in and pick up the Seahawks here, but like I hope that all the homework is being done at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center as to these potential buyers that are looking to buy the Seahawks. Like nothing worse than an owner that is like bragging about how cheap he is. That's a tough pill to swallow.
I feel that. All right, this weekend, man, Netflix had their first MMA type of deal. And You know, I got some thoughts about it, but Ronda Rousey met Gina Carano at the for the main event, the third main event. They had 3 main events. I'm like, goodness gracious, talk about worrying about people's feelings.
This is the main event.
No, this is the main. All right, this is the main event. Ronda Rousey wins with an armbar.
Ground and pound. Rousey looking for the arm, and already the arm. It's over. Mamma mia! It is just incredible. The most devastating finish in MMA history.
Yes.
And Ronda Rousey just took another arm hostage.
So about 25 million people watched this. UFC had their deal in Las Vegas. Their numbers were down. Obviously, Netflix is doing, we talked about this off air. Netflix is just grabbing names. Nate Diaz looked like he was 55 years old in that ring. Should not have been in that ring. Obviously, you grabbed Ronda Rousey. 17 seconds in, this thing was over. It was so underwhelming that, and then I saw who promoted it, and I said, no wonder this thing felt so underwhelming. What'd you think of the deal this weekend?
It was a lot of buildup for not a lot. Now, I didn't expect her and Gina Carano to go the distance. I thought it was going to be over within the first round, just because, I mean, even when Gina Carano was fighting, she was not, I think, to the level of Ronda Rousey, who is one of the greatest women's fighters of all time. But 17 seconds,
on,
like
man.
you're not even comfortable in your chair at that point.
Come on, man.
And then Ronda, in her post match press conference, not apologetic at all. And why should she be? Because, you know, we all signed up to watch this fight, and she was like, you know what? I got paid. My check's clearing.
My compensation, well, I was compensated not just for my fighting services, you know. I also was promoting this event as well. So I think it's literally on the contract that I'm not supposed to tell people, but I'm very, you know, I'm very happy and very grateful, and you know, me and my husband are gonna go house shopping in Hawaii after this.
All right, Rhonda, get your bag.
Okay,
But
we
goodness
get it,
gracious,
yeah.
17 seconds so you can get
You
it
duped
1.5.
us.
I'll take it. All right, now let's go around the diamond. The Mariners look to bounce back tonight against the White Sox. Pregame starts at 5:30 p.m. First pitch is at 6:40 on Seattle Sports. That's Around the Diamond, brought to you by Klein Jewelers Edmonds. When we come back, I will give you my biggest takeaways from the 2026 schedule release. Let me say one thing before we get out of here.
Yeah.
NFL be killing it. I'm looking at all the videos across the NFL with teams with their schedule release. They're doing a great job. I'll tell you what I think about the Seahawks schedule. That's coming up next.
Mariners GM Justin Hollander, exclusively with Brock and Salk.
If you hadn't had the Donovan injury, would we have seen him very soon anyway?
Probably not very soon, but those conversations had started. So I think within a month, probably, we really were happy with what we were seeing at the plate for him over the last couple weeks and seeing real sizable jumps in at that quality and his ability to drive the ball.
Hear the full conversation on the Seattle Sports app and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
And this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Lonnie. Lonnie, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
We've been with the same insurance company for over 32 years. And my husband said, come on, let's at least try it. And that was the smartest thing we ever did because we saved thousands, literally thousands a year on our insurance. They improved it. It cost me less, and it was a higher value. You know, I can't say enough good things about Scott because everything that he said he'd do, he did.
What do you tell your friends they can expect when they make the call to First Mark?
An easy, profitable, and actually pleasant call. They genuinely are trying to help you, and you can't beat that. We were silly to wait so long. A couple other friends that have called, too, they said, why didn't you tell us about this sooner?
You see, Lonnie did it. My family did it. You got to do it, and it's totally free. Go take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
Spring is the perfect time to make improvements that protect and add value to your home. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. For decades, homeowners across the Pacific Northwest have trusted our team for roofing, siding, windows, and custom decking. This spring, save up to $3,000, or qualified homeowners can take advantage of 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest up to 24 months. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule your free estimate.
Summer's supposed to be fun. When the kids are home all day, the groceries, They add up fast. G. Scott here with a quick heads up from Safeway. There's a program called Sunbucks that gives qualifying families $120 per child for summer groceries. Some families are signed up automatically and will get a card in the mail. Others need to apply. Take a minute to check. It could really help put food on the table for your family. Head to freesummermeals.org to find out more. That's freesummermeals.org.
The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day for baseball.
At T-Mobile Park, you've always got the best seat in the house. Case in point, your ticket might be for the view level, but it's more like Skyline City. Up here, it's hard to say what'll take your breath away first. The gorgeous Seattle sunsets or the spectacular views of every incredible play. If you like value with a view, it's the perfect place to take quality time with the family to a whole new level. Literally.
A base is clearing. 3-run double. Everybody on their feet here at T-Mobile Park.
Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
Josh Naylor is making his Mariners bobblehead debut this week. It's a 2-day giveaway with the first 10,000 fans tonight and tomorrow scoring this must-have collectible. Thanks to Western Washington Toyota dealers. Plus, both games are value games, so you can score seats for less than $12. Get your tickets at mariners.com.
It's National Safe Boating Week, and America's Boating Clubs of Washington wants you to know boating can be safe and fun. Always wear a life jacket, never boat under the influence, and take a safe boating course. America's Boating Clubs offer free Coast Guard approved vessel safety checks, boating skills courses, on-the-water training, and social activities. An educated boater is a better boater. There are 10 America's Boating Clubs throughout Washington state. Go to soundboating.com. America's Boating Clubs of Washington.
Mariners and White Sox tonight at T-Mobile. 6:40 first pitch, pregame at 5:30. Listen live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Woodworker, check. Metalworker or material handler, check. Equipment Sales and Surplus in Auburn offers competitive pricing on leading brands like Jet, Powermatic, Wilton, Bailey, and others. Whether you're a hobbyist or a fabrication shop needing metal forming machines, they have hundreds of machines and accessories. The only dealer offering scratch and dent and discounted items. Check them out in Auburn. EquipmentSalesandSurplus.com. Your go-to for woodworking, metalworking, or material handling. That's EquipmentSalesandSurplus.com.
Hi, Chef John Howie here. For 24 years, my team and I at Sea Star Restaurant and Raw Bar have called Bellevue home. We serve fresh, locally sourced seafood, farm fresh produce and poultry, and great steaks. At Sea Star, we like to say there's something for everyone, from the carnivore to the pescatarian to the vegetarian. Come see for yourself at Sea Star Restaurant and Raw Bar in Bellevue. SeaStarRestaurant.com, SeaStarRestaurant.com.
Shopping for a new Mazda? Shop the West Coast's largest Mazda dealer, Mazda of Everett. With more new Mazdas in stock than any dealer in the region. Shop over 780 new Mazdas. Click on the Mazda of Everett price. At Mazda of Everett, exceptional customer satisfaction is the standard. Plus, at Mazda of Everett, you negotiate directly with the owner. Locally owned, trusted by thousands. Shop MazdaofEverett.com and see why we're #1.
Still planning your summer vacation? Tired of airports and long drives? Anacortes Yacht Charters has a better option. Cruise the San Juan Islands aboard a fully equipped yacht. Take the helm of a bareboat charter or hire a skipper to explore on your terms. Quiet coves, lively harbors, no schedules. Just a tide guide and a sense of adventure. With a fleet of 50 powerboats and sailboats, AYC has options for groups large and small, from beginner to old salt. Start your San Juan adventure at ayc.com/KIRO.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We know our destinations. We know what's going to happen with the Seahawks team as far as their schedule. And NFL doing a great job of teasing us, letting leaks out, international games, a couple primetime games. And I think they leak it on purpose, right? They wanted to get people excited about what's going on. And like anyone else, we were holding tight, trying to pretty much make out our travel plans for people who go to all these games and whatnot. So before I tell you my thoughts, what were your thoughts when the schedule dropped? Because you guys did a show after, right?
We did, yeah. Charlie Furbush and I, we were on Friday, and then also spoke with Brady Henderson of ESPN.com about it, too, on the show. My biggest takeaway from it was, holy cow, that's a lot of primetime games.
Yeah.
Whereas in the last couple of years, we've been like, do you think the Seahawks will get more than one primetime game? Maybe, maybe not. 6 in total, 7 standalone games. You've got a Saturday afternoon game against the Eagles, and then potentially that game, Week 18 against the Rams, that could be flexed into a primetime spot as well. So you're looking at basically like a Kansas City Chiefs style schedule for the Seahawks, or
the Jets.
Or the Jets that one year where they had, I think, 6 primetime games and they were horrible. That to me was what stood out about this Seahawks team, is like, oh, they've arrived. Like they're a Super Bowl team. They're not going to be flying under anyone's radar this year.
Initially, the first thing I saw, we were predicting that the Chicago Bears was going to be that Week 1 game, right? We really thought they're going to go that route. We felt like they would stay away from New England because of the drama. Instead, they lean into that thing. I'm not mad at it. So Week 1, I'm thinking, here goes the drama. Let's go. Let's remesh this. I'm all about it. And then there's a span between Week 6 through 8. Back-to-back prime time games. You got Denver on a Thursday, Kansas City on a Sunday night, and you got Chicago on a Monday night. By that time, they would have played New England, Arizona, Washington, L.A., and San Francisco. I could easily see them being 4-1 at that point. Easily see them. Then this is the tough part of the schedule, right? Because you got Denver with that great defense. Kansas City, we don't know who they're going to be, but we assume that Pat Mahomes would be available by then. And then the Bears on Monday, a team that I think that have high expectation this year. I know a couple analysts who have picked them to make a run at the Super Bowl. So I'm looking at that stretch right there, week 6, 7, and 8. We're going to know who this team is by that time when they're done with that stretch, depending on how healthy they are. Another thing that sticks out to me, Cowboys on Monday Night Football. I love this. I love this. Cowboys come in with all this hype. Now, they did a great job with their defense this year.
Yeah.
I think the draft picks that they have, I think they did a good job. Their offense is always going to be there. It's just, is Dak Prescott going to stay healthy? Can he not turn the football over? Love that. Monday Night Football against the Cowboys. And then I just like playing on my birthday. Play the Giants on my birthday.
There you go.
Right? So on Sunday, December 13th.
That's a fun one.
You play the Giants on my birthday. And I think the Giants have gotten better too. I think, can they stay healthy though? You got Jackson Dart over there. You made some great draft picks on defense. We shall see. Here's another one that was interesting to me. At Philly, what is Reed Williams' mental going to be like by that point of the year? Like, will he have been embraced by Philly because he's playing out of his mind, has 4 or 5 interceptions, and is back to the Reed that we've seen before? Or is he so just mentally beat up by this harsh Philly crowd that his demeanor is off? We can tell when Reed ain't feeling it. You know what I mean? He wears his emotions on his sleeve. So I hope he's in a good place. I don't wish bad on anybody, but I saw that, and that stuck out to me. And last but not least, I hate that you're playing the Rams in 3 weeks. All right, playing week 16, then Carolina 17, and then the Rams 18. The one thing that I might like about it is Matthew Stafford going to be healthy. We'll be playing against Ty Simpson week 16 and week 18, but I don't like that they clumped it all together like that.
That's an interesting possibility that I don't think a lot of people have kind of looked at, with the not back-to-back Rams games, but 2 in the span of 3 weeks to end the season. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of talk this past offseason about Matthew Stafford and whether his back would be well enough for him to play. Now, ends up winning MVP. I think his back was quite all right, but there's another year of wear and tear on the body, and he's always kind of hinting at retirement at this stage in his career. And Ty Simpson, he's not very battle-tested, has, just 15 starts under his belt as a collegiate quarterback. That's not a lot for really anybody entering the league in terms of the kind of experience you'd want to have out of a quarterback. I'm looking at sort of the road schedule right now, Bump, and I think the Seahawks got most of their tough games at home this year. I look at the Denver game and the Philly game as the 2 toughest road games, but New England is going to be tough. That's at home. Kansas City's at home. Chicago's at home. Dallas is at home. Of all the games outside of your division that could potentially be a tough one for you, you got a great advantage in getting those games at home rather than on the road.
I like that. Also love that we might get to see Fernando Mendoza. Fernando Mendoza against the Seahawks defense. We'll see if Kirk Cousins gets to start or not. Either way, if Kirk were to start the season as their number one guy, I would assume by week 10, Mendoza's probably going to be in the game anyway. So I want to see what that looks like. I love where the bye week drops. Week 11, I think that's beautiful. Right after November 15th, around Thanksgiving time, a little break, get healthy. The closer to the middle of the season, the better for me when it comes to those bye weeks.
Also, a rare stretch in this season. You have a stretch of 5 of 6 games at home. Week 4 through week 9, you will have 5 home games and just 1 road game in that month. At Denver, the only game on the road in basically October through the midpoint of November. I can't recall a time seeing the Seahawks with 3 straight home games. And considering, how Lumen Field became a home field advantage again at the end of this past season, I think that is going to be very advantageous, especially for those, that 3-game stretch that you pointed to at Denver, Kansas City, Chicago. That's going to help them out with just the lack of travel over that time.
But it all starts with Hard Knocks.
It really does.
This summer. All starts with Hard Knocks. Stacy's determined to get on. I will play the background and let her shine. All right, we got more to do when we come back. We'll be joined by my Irish brother from the 33rd team, Sam Monson. That's coming up next on the Bump Stacy Show. We got Curtis Rogers filling in.
He is one of the most anticipated prospects in Mariners history.
Here comes Colt Emerson.
He's out there right now wearing number 4 over at third base.
The Mariners' top-ranked prospect and 4th-ranked overall in baseball.
Is Colt Emerson the spark the Mariners offense needs?
We want to do the right thing for Colt. We also want to do the right thing for the Mariners. We think he's the best option.
Complete coverage at SeattleSports.com.
Really hone in on the winning aspects of the game.
And the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Hi, Andy Klein here. There's something special about a baseball game. The moments and the memories. At Klein Jewelers, that's exactly how we feel about our diamonds. They're a beautiful reminder of life's biggest moments. We're here to help you find the perfect diamond or beautiful piece of jewelry to celebrate your engagement, anniversary, birthday, promotion, or just because. Klein Jewelers by the Fountain in downtown Edmonds. Shine with Klein.
Thinking about upgrading your water heater? Snohomish PUD can help. Right now, you can get $1,000 back when you install a qualifying heat pump water heater. These systems use far less energy than standard electric tanks, which means lower electric bills for you.
Oh, nice.
Choose an eligible model, apply for your rebate within 90 days, and get cash back from PUD. Learn more at snowpud.com/rebates.
People can see through if it's not genuine, and it's genuine here. The Johnsons always talk about in orientation meeting, their dad and grandpa, they always maintain that it's a people business. We're not here to sell cars and work on cars. That's what we do, but it's really about just helping people. Every month we have a new employee orientation meeting, and the Johnsons present. They can't get out to all the stores every day and meet everyone, but at least they get to shake hands with new employees every month in the orientation meeting. And they tell everyone there's not one car deal or one repair order that is worth tarnishing our reputation and ruining an experience for a customer. That just is really what is instilled.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafee, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. Improve your play with 40% off installation or 0% financing for 60 months with equal payments. And we're giving back with 2 $5,000 scholarships for our local youth sports teams. Upgrade your home today at PellaPNW.com.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Got any markdowns on brakes?
We mark Duralast brake pads down to free.
Free Duralast brake pads?
When you buy 2 rotors.
Can I get Duralast Gold pads for free?
With 2 Duralast Gold rotors, and there's a lifetime warranty on brake pads.
That's a huge markdown for so many miles.
Save on brakes and more during Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This deer season, John Deere wants to give you the home field advantage. We're bringing you the best offers of the season, whether that's cash off on select new machines or a shot at the ultimate Major League Baseball prize package. Because right now, you can enter for a chance to win an MLB All-Star experience for you and 3 friends, complete with travel and lodging for All-Star Week this July. Deer season is going on now through June 3rd. Visit johndeere.com/deer season to enter and view the offers and complete contest rules. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Got any markdowns on brakes?
We mark Duralast brake pads down to free.
Free Duralast brake pads?
When you buy 2 rotors.
Can I get Duralast Gold pads for free?
With 2 Duralast Gold rotors, and there's a lifetime warranty on brake pads.
That's a huge markdown for so many miles.
Save on brakes and more during Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners are looking to bounce back tonight against the hot White Sox after being swept by the Padres. First pitch is at 6:40. We got Wu on the mound. The Western Conference begins. The finals begins tonight against OKC, against Wemby and the Spurs. Let's see how that goes down. We got a Game 7 in the NHL. Buffalo forced a winner-go-home game against Montreal. Puck drops at 4:30. And congrats to Aaron Rye becoming the first English-born player to win the PGA Championship since 1919.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
Curtis Rogers filling in for Stacy Ross, and I'm still here. We're joined now by the 33rd team, Sam Monson. Sam, how we doing today?
Doing good. How about you guys?
We're doing good. We finally have an idea of what could happen this season, right? The NFL does such a great job with their schedule release, and then the teams get and put their own spin on it. The Hawks had like a perfume type of video. I watched the Patriots. They're on a roller coaster. Did you watch any video that you liked the most when it comes to the schedule release?
I mean, I think the Chargers have still set the bar. You know, they're the team that seems to have not just embraced it, but really kind of pushed the schedule release videos the furthest of any team. I think they're still the benchmark, but everyone's catching up. Like, there's most teams out there are now doing something pretty cool for these schedule release videos.
Sam, the Seahawks, they get their schedule. It's 6 primetime games, 7 standalone games for them. Very much in the forefront of the conversation of the NFL this year, which is to be expected as defending Super Bowl champs. When you look at just kind of first glance at the Seahawks 2026 schedule, any matchups jump out to you as ones that you're like, yeah, I need to tune in for all 60 minutes of this one?
Well, they have the benefit of being in that division where you can imagine a couple of those matchups being awesome multiple times during the year. I think the 49ers will be a good team again. I think obviously the Rams, all the matchups with the Rams last season were awesome, so I'm all for seeing those again. In terms of going outside of the division, though, The Bears, I think, is going to be a really interesting matchup this season, given how far along they were last year. I think they were further ahead last season than people thought they would be. Sometimes that involves teams taking a step backwards and regressing a bit the next year. But if they've just accelerated the time scale with Caleb Williams and, Luther Burden and the young players that they've got, that could be a really fun matchup.
I told Curtis that another game I'm looking forward to seeing is at Las Vegas. I just want to see Mendoza, if he's going to be the guy or not. I assume that if Kirk Cousins does start the season at this point, we probably will see Mendoza. What are your expectations for that rookie over there?
Yeah, I would definitely expect him to be starting by the time that game rolls around. Mendoza is an interesting player because it's a pretty small sample size that sort of determined that he was going to be the number one overall pick and the unquestioned top quarterback from this draft. I'm not saying it's unjust, but I'm saying, we sort of skated over some of the negatives, I think, in his prospect profile when he was coming out. And, he did run this sort of RPO-heavy offense in college. He does have a sort of fairly troubling relationship with pressure sometimes, tries to bail out of the back of pockets, gets himself into some trouble. These are all things he can improve on and, work out. And I think people kind of give him a free pass because he's got this kind of quirky personality of, the LinkedIn stuff and the maniacal obsession with the game. And so, well, of course, he'll put the work in, he'll get it sorted out. I don't think that's necessarily a given. Cousins is a great quarterback to have in the building and sort of mentor him along with that process, because Cousins is also kind of, really good at that stuff, squeezing every last ounce out of the talent that he has in the NFL. But it'll be interesting to see how long it takes him to sort of smooth out the rough edges of his play and become the player that he can be at the NFL level.
Sam, one of the hardest things to do in the NFL is have your defensive performance kind of translate year over year. Very rarely do we see, the top defenses continue to be that for, 2 or 3 year stretches. But the Seahawks bring back a lot of what made them the best defense in the NFL last year. What do you make of their defense heading into the 26th season, especially after losing a few key pieces in free agency?
I think you're right. It's very difficult to sort of maintain a truly elite difference-making defense year on year. There's a reason we sort of cite specific years of, the Legion of Boom year and the Denver Broncos defense when it was amazing a couple years later. But I think you can maintain a very good defense for a number of years. It's just it tends to peak for sort of 1 year where it becomes truly transcendent and special. And if you maintain a really good defense for a few years, it's usually because not just you have a bunch of talent, but you have a coach with a scheme that's at the forefront of the way the game is at that moment. And I think the Seahawks have got that right now with Mike McDonald and what that defense is doing. So, yeah, maybe it doesn't quite match a year ago, or maybe they haven't even hit their peak yet. Maybe, next year will be even more special. But I do think that this is going to be a defense that's at a high level for, several years now with this head coach. I think there's a lot of talent on that defense. There's a lot of young talent as well. You can imagine a world where some of their most important players are even better next year. So I do expect the defense to be very good again, and then we just get to see how good.
Sam, I really liked what the Hawks did during the draft. I think there was the obvious pick in Jadarian Price, and then after that, I'm kind of waiting to see what they're going to do. What was your favorite pick, and who you think is a sleeper in this draft?
Yeah, I agree. I think the Jadarian Price pick felt like sort of they were trapped at that spot. I think if they had the right trade partner, they would have loved to get out of that pick and draft Price a little bit lower down, or add some picks and not quite be back into a corner and just have to make the pick for need. But given they weren't able to find that trade partner, I think it's okay. I think it's fine to pick the running back in the position that you really had that need in. But then they did manage to get those trades lower down the draft and add some draft picks, and coming into the draft with as few draft picks as they had and coming out of it with as many players as they did, I think is really good business. I love Bud Clark, their second round pick, the safety from TCU. I thought he stood out all the way through the Senior Bowl week when we were down there in Mobile. That guy's a ball hawk. He's going to make plays both in man coverage, in the red zone, but also deep as a free safety over the top as well. It's got some real range to his game. I thought that was a fantastic pick there. I guess if you're looking for a sleeper, Bo Stevens, the guard from Iowa, I mean, they still have a spot on that offensive line that could be won, at guard, the other guard spot after last year's pick was so good. I think that Stevens could, maybe not right away, but Stevens could work himself into the ability to take that spot and get himself a starting gig on this offensive line.
Sam, it felt like the rest of the NFC West in the draft kind of threw all caution to the wind in making their picks. You got the Cardinals drafting Jeremiah Love at pick number 3, and now he's got the highest guaranteed salary of any running back in NFL history. You've got Ty Simpson, the first-round pick of the Rams, where everybody was stunned by that move. And then the 49ers taking Deshaun Stribling in the second round, a guy that I think not a lot of people had in that spot where the 49ers were picking from. What did you make of just kind of the NFC West saying, to hell with all your draft boards, we're doing what we're doing?
Yeah, certainly. Maybe the most fascinating division in terms of what everybody did, just the way it worked. The Cardinals kind of fascinating because we come from PFF and analytics hates running backs, and analytics hates drafting running backs. And I was amazed how close I came to being able to endorse the Jeremiah Love, a 3 overall pick with the Cardinals. I'm still not 100% sure that I would have done it, but I get it, and I'm a lot closer to it than I thought I would be, particularly when you sort of pair it with, getting Chase Besantis at the top of the second round and being able to come back and add to that offensive line, which would be the only thing that would stop me drafting Jeremiah Love at 3 overall. Was I'm not sure that offensive line is good enough to be able to sort of support him and let him show that he's as good as he is. Getting Besantis around later and being able to reinforce that line, I think, gets me a lot closer to that. The Rams, again, I can't hate it. It's basically the same decision that the Packers had a few years ago with Jordan Love. Do you get Aaron Rodgers, a wide receiver that might be the difference between winning a Super Bowl in the next couple of years or not? And, where they picked Jordan Love, the next 2 wide receivers off the board that year were T. Higgins and Michael Pittman Jr. So you literally decide, do you want Jordan Love and potentially secure the next 10 years at the quarterback position, or T. Higgins or Michael Pittman, who might be the difference between, winning in the playoffs this year or not? And they went with the quarterback. And I think, again, you can argue the same thing with the Rams. Do you want Ty Simpson, who might be the answer quarterback for the next 10 years, or do we draft Mekhi Lemon, who would have been the difference maybe in that Seahawks, the NFC Championship game? You put Mekhi Lemon on that team, the Rams might win that game. So it's exactly the same decision that they had to make. And I don't think you can kind of criticize it either way, as long as your building is sure that the quarterback is the guy. And then the 49ers are fascinating because this was the draft of 2 things. Number one, everybody going after blocking tight ends, right? That was everywhere that was happening, left, right, and center. And then number 2, and those 2 things are connected, but reaching relative to the consensus board. And we had this whole thing after the draft about the consensus board and what it means. I mean, the 49ers clearly do not care about the consensus board. They reach every year, they overdraft guys, they stick to their own board, and they do not care what anybody else thinks about these players. And what's fascinating about that is that has not worked out well for them in the last few years. I mean, there's a couple of draft picks here or there, Dominic Pooney on the offensive line, obviously Brock Purdy at quarterback, that basically saved them from being one of the worst drafting teams in history over the last few years.
Out of the 8 picks that the Seahawks had this draft, only 2 offensive players. One who we expect to compete for a starting job in Bo Stevens at that guard spot, and then Emmanuel Henderson. What does that say to you about what they think about this offense? And does that signal to you Fleury thinks he has what he needs to run a successful offense?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they've obviously invested in that side of the ball, not just in the draft, but sort of outside of that, bringing in a Rashid Shaheed via trade and then re-upping him in the offseason, paying him decent money to stay there. I mean, you could sort of factor that into their draft haul this year. Effectively, one of those missing draft picks was Rashid Shaheed, and they just cashed in on that a little bit earlier. They're getting Torrey Horton back from injury. He looked like a good player before he went down as well. So, yeah, I think they've looked at this group and said, outside of running back, and we're addressing that at the top of the draft, we've got pretty much everything we need for this to be a good unit. There's a lot of wide receiver depth there now. There's some tight end depth there as well. A.J. Barner, I think, is a really good player. Again, Arroyo they drafted recently, so that's a player they would expect to take a step forward. So, yeah, I think this is a team or an offense, the side of the ball, that could be very good again.
Sam, last year the Rams and Seahawks were clearly the two best teams in football. That NFC Championship game turned out to be the Super Bowl, as the Seahawks just buried the Patriots in the Super Bowl. When you look at the two off seasons that the Seahawks and Rams have had, has the gap narrowed between the two? Have the Seahawks maintained their advantage on them, or do you think the Rams have leapfrogged them in the NFC West?
I think it's probably still razor thin. Again, I think the Rams probably made the biggest step forward in that their biggest weakness by a mile was at cornerback, and they went and made the splash play and brought in Trent McDuffie and then signed the other Chiefs corner in free agency. So in basically the flip of a switch, they almost eradicated by far their biggest weakness. But then they came in and spent, their first round pick on Ty Simpson, a move that probably won't make any difference this year, or certainly they would hope wouldn't make any difference this year, because if he has to play, obviously Matthew Stafford's gotten hurt. So, the biggest area of impact in the draft, they sort of voluntarily chose to forego in favor of trying to secure the future. But I would imagine, that these two teams both look like legit contenders again. I would imagine those encounters being razor thin again.
What are your expectations for the run game? I feel like the Hawks, as it stands right now, they got four different type of backs, right? You got Jadarian, who does a bit of everything. Emmanuel gets downhill. George Holani getting the pass game, pass pro, and then McIntosh, who I feel like has big playability. Does the run game get better, worse, or kind of levels out?
I think it's probably worse than it was a year ago with Walker and Charbonnet. Obviously, Charbonnet is going to get back healthy first and foremost, and I think there's probably going to be a little bit of time at the start of the season where he's not healthy and working his way back, and then has got to sort of get himself back up to the level that he was at before. But Kenneth Walker, I think, is a fantastic running back. There's a reason he got paid big money in the offseason. Price is absolutely talented, and there's some really interesting kind of takes on Jadarian Price out there. There's more people than I would have expected who have said things along the lines of he's every bit as talented as Jeremiah Love, or he might be a better player at the NFL level. I think that's kind of nuts, but there's more people out there with that take than I would have expected, having watched both their tapes. So, this could end up replacing what they had a year ago and being that fantastic sort of thunder and lightning backfield and, being every bit as good as it was last season.
He's at 33rd team, Sam Monson. Sam, we appreciate your time, man.
Thanks, Sam.
Anytime. Take it easy, guys.
All right, let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news.
Powered by Bay Alarm Security Services.
With Bump and Stacy.
Mariners announced that they will be piggybacking Luis Castillo and Bryce Miller on Tuesday. What's the real headline?
Real headline, in the spirit of another kid's activity, let's hope they don't get leapfrogged in the standings.
Kind of already did, right? Just don't need we need Astros to stay down there and chill.
Yeah.
Third place in the AL, but
Chill
yeah, just hang around, be okay. We did this the first time. Why not do it again? What's piggyback mean for the fan who doesn't know what that is?
So you're going to have one of these guys start the game as they traditionally would, and then whenever they're done throwing, then the next guy comes in. Now, there's a whole lot of different scenarios in play as to how this might work, how this might not work. What if one of these guys has like a no-hitter through 5 innings? You're gonna take him out? No, you're gonna keep him in there. Right. And then all of a sudden, does that next guy even get in the game if the other guy's moving along here? What if the other guy gets blown up 6 runs in the first inning? Like, now do you bring in the other guy to start the second? Like, where do you put him in? It's a really weird spot to be in for the Mariners. Obviously, this is because they're trying to delay a decision on how they figure out their rotation moving forward because, look, Luis Castillo just has not been it here in the season's first quarter. What do you do with that contract? What do you do with him? Do you move him to the bullpen? What happens with Luis Castillo. Bryce Miller looked pretty good in his first start. But yeah, so a lot of weird scenarios in play with these two guys likely going on Tuesday. Don't know who gets a start, don't know who comes in relief, but they're both going to be pitching on Tuesday.
Yeah, I was going back and forth with a texter. They're like, he's bad. Just sit him. Why are we doing this piggyback deal? And I was like, well, Castillo's been good for this team. And we spoke to someone earlier today, and it was Callis, and he was saying he thinks that he still has some stuff. He just hasn't found his location yet. And my thing is, a guy like Castillo, you don't just kick him to the curb like that. He's still shown some moments. So you allow him a chance to compete and win a job back, or have Bryce just take it. I'm with the in-house competition.
Headline rewrites.
Aaron Rodgers is officially back with the Steelers after signing a one-year deal to return to Pittsburgh. What's the real headline?
Real headline between the Steelers organization, Rodgers, and Steelers fans. You really have to ask, is anyone excited about this? This is a news item that I saw come across yesterday, Bump, and I was kind of like, okay, we can finally move on now.
Yeah. Like, who would you want? Would you want Rodgers, Will Howard, Mason Rudolph? That's be another
Drew Aller, he's there.
Yeah, just drafted Aller. Yeah, it's either way you slice it. These fans weren't going to be excited anyway, right?
Did you see the headline about Drew Aller in Steelers rookie minicamp, where I think it was Mike McCarthy basically like, we have to get Aller to unlearn everything he knew at Penn State.
Dang.
Where it's like, yikes, he's
that
far.
He's
staff, that far behind. Yeah. James Franklin, head coach at Penn State during Aller's career with the Nittany Lions. But, I mean, you mentioned those names. I think the Steelers season's probably going to end with the same record that they probably would have had if you go with, like, Will Howard or Mason Rudolph, as you've got with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I think they're going to go 8-9, 9-8, one of those two, and probably be in the hunt for the 7 seed in the AFC playoffs. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is the kind of quarterback that's going to elevate your team to a Super Bowl. I mean, the last time he was Aaron Rodgers was 2021?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's 5 years ago? No, it's time to give it up, Aaron Rodgers. But we'll get one last year.
For $25 million, I'll do it one more time.
Sure.
I'll do it.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers is your elder.
He's my elder.
What, 43?
It's disrespectful, Aaron. You should be at home or on the radio by now. What are you doing?
Headline rewrites.
Aaron Rai became the first Englishman to win the PGA Championship. What's the real headline, Governor?
Real headline: this May have passed Kenny Pickett being a first-round pick is the biggest moment for the two-glove community.
Yes, sir. Let's go, Ryan. 1919 was the last time an Englishman won the PGA Championship, and it was match play back then. Bit easier to do it. So Rye doing his thing. I saw a video clip. His wife is actually in the LPGA, and they showed a clip of her at the Masters this year doing the par 3 tourney. Swing is beautiful, as you would imagine. But listen, Rye has come a long way. He has iron covers on his irons to remind him where he comes from. His dad bought him a set back in the day. He couldn't really afford them, so he put iron covers on them to preserve them. He has 2 gloves on. He sunk a 70-foot putt and didn't even smile. This dude is, from what I hear, one of the nicer guys on the tour. Everyone gets along with him. Won about $3 million off of that tourney alone. Good for him. You like seeing the nice guys win.
He only has 2 career wins on the tour. Won the Wyndham Championship back in 2024. So yesterday, obviously, the biggest moment of his career. Winning a major championship, that's forever, man. Like, that is the coolest thing to see him do. And, beat a pretty formidable opponent there who finished in second place, John Rahm, who's won multiple major championships. Really cool story for Aaron Rai to be able to come away with a major championship. That's one thing about golf is that, you're going to see your typical guys atop the leaderboard, but the major championships, for whatever reason, have a penchant for the random guys winning it every now and then. I think back, this is a long time ago now, but when Zach Johnson was first getting on the scene there, when he won the Masters, that was a stunner. It's like, who the heck is this guy winning the Masters? But yeah, congrats to Raya doing it yesterday. That was pretty cool.
It's nice to see the random do it. You know, like in any other sport, the random is not going to win a championship.
Right.
They'll make a run. They'll make it interesting. But in golf, all you got to do is get hot one day and have Rory and Scotty struggle one day and stay in the mix and keep it cool about yourself. There's only about really 120 really good golfers in the world. So you get lucky one day, you get hot, play your game, and things can happen. So big up to Aaron Ryan, man. That was fun to watch. Two glove, Aaron Ryan. All right, when we come back, this is the Bump and Stacy Show. We got NFL headlines, man. Do we finally have an answer for Eli Manning, why he didn't want to go to the Chargers? And Nick Mawari talks about what happened during these joint practices last year and how it all started. That's coming up next. I'm Michael Bumpers. That's Curtis Rogers. This is the Bump and Stacy Show.
Mariners GM Justin Hollander, exclusively with Brock and Salk.
If you hadn't had the Donovan injury, would we have seen him very soon anyway?
Probably not very soon, but those conversations had started. So I think within a month, probably, we really were happy with what we were seeing at the plate for him over the last couple weeks and seeing real sizable jumps in at that quality and his ability to drive the ball.
Hear the full conversation on the Seattle Sports app and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
What's up? It's Bump here, letting you know we got some big events coming up at Silver Reef. We got Crazy Train, an Aussie tribute to the Prince of Darkness headline Saturday, July 25th. Also, Howie Mandel, a famous comedian, returns to Silver Reef on Friday, October 9th. Tickets sold out fast last time, so make sure you get your tickets before they sell out again. But you don't have to wait until July or October to check out Silver Reef Casino Resort. Book a tee time at Loomis Trails Golf Course and spend the weekend up there. The course is in great shape. Relax in deluxe rooms and enjoy a meal at the steakhouse. You can watch a game and have fun at their sports restaurant and enjoy the Cantina, authentic Mexican restaurant. Also, plenty of reasons to go up there, and I haven't even mentioned the spa yet. Book your stay at silverreefcasino.com. I love it there. It's an easy drive and well worth the trip. They also have some of the cheapest gas on the west side, so your wallet will not hate you. All you got to do is hop on I-5, exit 260, Silver Reef Casino Resort, silverreefcasino.com. That's silverreefcasino.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at People Come First, or PCF Construction Group. And if you've been dreaming of that new deck, you got to get a hold of PCF. Call them before the great weather arrives and their schedule gets totally filled up. With a new deck, patio cover, heater, and fireplace from PCF, you can enjoy the outdoors year-round no matter what the weather brings. And for a limited time, how about this? Get 50% off demolition costs up to $5,000 when you book your project with PCF. Contact People Come First Construction Group for all the details. They designed and built our outdoor living space, and we love it. Start planning and designing your dream deck now so you're ready to build this summer. Planning, permitting, and construction can take a little time, so get started today. Get project ideas, browse their amazing photos, and look at all the offer details at pcfgroup.com.
Making your outdoor space your favorite place with People Come First.
Summer's supposed to be fun. When the kids are home all day, the groceries, they add up fast. G. Scott here with a quick heads up from Safeway. There's a program called Sunbucks that gives qualifying families $120 per child for summer groceries. Some families are signed up automatically and will get a card in the mail. Others need to apply. Take a minute to check. It could really help put food on the table for your family. Head to freesummermeals.org to find out more. That's freesummermeals.org.
I keep seeing celebrities posts, me in the 90s versus now. Well, the person staring at me in the mirror is definitely not the same person that could pull off bootcut jeans. Time creeps up on us so slowly. You don't see it until suddenly you do. Same thing goes for your bills. $1 here, an uptick there. It's a slow burn until one day you realize the price you're paying now is way higher than when you signed up. But at T-Mobile, customers had the lowest wireless bills versus Verizon and AT&T over the past 5 years. And with T-Mobile on their experience plans, you get a 5-year price guarantee, so you know exactly what your plan price will be for the next 5 years. So at least that's one thing that won't change over time. I can't guarantee you'll still look good with frosted tips, but T-Mobile can give you a clear guarantee on your wireless plan.
Lower bills based on HarrisX billing snapshots from Q3 21 to Q4 25 compared to average AT&T and Verizon bills. Comparison excludes discounts, credits, and optional charges. Price guarantee on talk, text, and data. Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com.
Mariners and White Sox tonight at T-Mobile. 6:40 first pitch, pregame at 5:30. Listen live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we know you're no stranger to setting big goals, whether in school, at work, or in life, and you're ready for more. At UMGC, we offer the skills-based education you need to move your career forward. Learn how to apply AI, data science, and other emerging tech, plus gain skills in leadership and critical thinking. You've come far. Succeed again. No application fee if you apply by June 1st. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-771-1300. That's 800-771-1300.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Welcome back to Bump and Stacy, a.k.a. the Dad Podcast today. We got Curtis Rogers filling in. I always thought Eli Manning was sort of a gangster. My man said, I ain't going to San Diego. I'm not playing for the Chargers. For over 20 years, we've been left out to wonder why Eli refused to play for the Chargers. Manning finally shared the story on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast.
I just didn't feel like they were the most committed team to winning at the time. Marty Schottenheimer was the head coach, who was awesome, had great respect for him, but they came to work me out in New Orleans, went to dinner, and there was just friction between, the head coach, general manager, the owners. They're all yelling, kind of fighting. We're at a Marriott restaurant, and Schottenheimer's mad that we're in New Orleans, we're eating at a Marriott, and so he's pissed. They're kind of this bickering, and it just didn't seem like there was a whole lot of agreement on things, and they were kind of committed to building a great winning franchise at that moment. My parents really weren't supportive. My dad didn't like the idea. He came to my defense and supported me after everything was going down, but a lot of
he didn't like that you were kind of demanding, I don't want to go to San Diego.
Right. He didn't like that. And afterwards, he took a blunt of a lot of the criticism because he kind of came to my defense, and people were saying, "Oh, you played in New Orleans all those years, you didn't win, so you're trying to dictate where your son's going." And he just kind of bit his tongue and said, "I'm just this is what Eli wants to do, and I support him." And he kind of did some media to try to save me from doing all the media and taking the hits.
There are only so many players per draft or each draft that have this type of power, could even think about trying to pull this thing off. And you know what, Curtis, when I think about memories from 20 years ago, I don't remember them exactly. I remember a feeling, a comment or two that was made, unless it was, I don't remember everything exactly. He's a quarterback. His brain might work differently. But if it went down the way he says it went down, I wouldn't want to play for these guys either.
Yeah, you never want to see a coaching staff and a front office not on the same page. And the Spanos family has always been, one of the worst owners in the NFL, whether it be Alex Spanos or Dean Spanos in charge of the Chargers. And then, Marty Schottenheimer, when he was coaching, was one of the most respected coaches in the league. And I would imagine that as a head coach that the Manning family would have liked to have their son play for. But ultimately, a team is a reflection of their ownership. And the Chargers have always, been underperformers, and I think that's due in large part to who's in charge there. I will say, though, Archie Manning got a lot of flack back then. And hearing the story firsthand from Eli, basically being like, no, this was my decision. my dad just kind of stood in front of me, and he took a lot of the arrows that were headed my way. I think that's the mark of a good dad right there.
It.
Yeah.
Take care of my son.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I guess now we know. I can't remember if they were, obviously they weren't good because they had a high draft pick. So never mind, they were not a good team. It was all discombobulated upstairs. Thank you for filling us in there, Eli Manning. Earlier in the season, we heard from Sam Darnold. He talked about how the joint practice at Green Bay was a turning point for their season. Nick and Mawari backed him up here.
We were at the joint practice with Green Bay when y'all got to throwing. The two things I remember from that practice was nobody could cover JSN. I was like, he gonna catch every football. And I remember looking at y'all on defense, and I was like, they ready.
Yeah, brotherhood is definitely real. Like, going back to the Packers joint practice, I remember that practice vividly. That moment, that's where the start of everything kind of was for me. When I'm starting observing, like, the vets, I'm just a young rookie just looking and observing, and we had a little brawl, but even after the brawl, like, we was all together. Even in an NFC game, me and Reek, that was just like pure emotion and just passion for my brother. Even if I was doing it, I'll expect him to do the same thing to me because, like, we were super tight. Even then, like, right when we got back to the bench, we had that, and then we dapped up and hugged it out, and we was like, hey, bro, like, we got to go win this game. Like, I remember, like, the defensive meetings, watching film together, like, the meeting room is live. We in there laughing, we playing music, we rapping to the songs, we shadow boxing. The coach has been saying it, the players been saying it, like, the vets who played in the league 11 years, they've been saying, like, this is the closest team they ever seen.
I love that, man. When I've never had a joint practice before, the closest I came was we used to do 7-on-7 with Eastern Washington, Idaho during the summertime. It was player-led. And even moments like that, the team comes together because there's no coaches around. With them, there were coaches around. But with us, no coaches around. We have to do it ourselves. But, yeah, when you get in a fight, man, and you're able to shake it off, that's your brother. If you can fight and 5 minutes later, you guys are cool.
Oh, yeah. We've seen a couple of skirmishes between the Seahawks and their joint practice opponent the last couple of years. The Titans, I know they got into it with the Seahawks because there was those quotes of, like, Jamal Adams, who was playing with the Titans at the time, chirping at the Seahawks. Last year, obviously, with the Packers. But, yeah, I mean, it's still such a new concept out here in Seattle, the joint practices, because we never saw it with Pete Carroll. I don't recall Mike Holmgren ever doing it when he was the head coach here. It's been a long time since there had been any kind of joint practice with the Seahawks and another team, and I'm excited to see if they do it again. I would say the most likely team to do it with them is the Titans, who did it with them a couple of years ago, because a weird wrinkle with the Seahawks preseason schedule this year is that they will face two of those teams again in the regular season. I don't think you want to show the Cowboys too much. I don't think you want to show the Chiefs too much.
I think that joint practices for established veterans are the best things for them. They're not going to play in the preseason. I understand with the schedule shift, you got 3 preseason games. You're probably going to 2. I'm fine with that as long as the guys fighting to make the team get all those reps. Let your veterans get the work in during these joint practices, and we'll be good to go. All right, Steelers finally got a deal done. Why is it so important? We got ESPN Steelers reporter Brooke Pryor explains.
Everyone I talked to in the building said that they really wanted him here by May 18th, by the start of OTAs, at least the next phase of them, when they're going to have all the team in the building. It's still voluntary, of course, but it's a new head coach, new system, all of these new things. And Aaron Rodgers might be familiar with it from his time with Mike McCarthy, but he's got new teammates. This is Mike McCarthy now in Pittsburgh. It's been several years since he's worked with him. So the Pittsburgh Steelers really wanted Aaron Rodgers to be at OTAs, and now that he's agreed to this deal, he will be.
They're voluntary. He's showing up.
They are.
It's a good start.
Yeah, and we heard Mike McDonald last year talk about the importance of 100% attendance at the Seahawks OTAs. I would imagine Mike McCarthy probably is that kind of coach as well, and you don't want to get off on the wrong foot if you're Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy, where you're kind of trying to rekindle a former head coach quarterback relationship that existed for all those years in Green Bay. I am kind of surprised, though, they're getting Aaron Rodgers to show up for OTAs, as that's kind of been something he hasn't really done a lot in his recent seasons. But yeah, I guess this is good for the Steelers. I just think it's all kind of like all this for an 8-win season. All this for an 8-win season. Lock it in right now. Man. Steelers 8 wins.
You know why he's showing up for OTAs? The same reason why I now have to stretch before I play golf. It is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the body don't respond the way it used to. So he understands. I got to get going. But, all right, you touched on it a bit. How are these guys going to coexist? There's some type of friction, or was some type of friction between Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers. Here's Shefty.
They've been in constant contact throughout this process from the time that Mike McCarthy took over as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach, returning home to Pittsburgh, where he's from. He's been communicating regularly with Rodgers. And even though the relationship at times may not have been ideal or perfect, what coach-quarterback relationship is, there is a great respect between those two individuals. And obviously, he was the one coach that could help lure Aaron Rodgers back to Pittsburgh. If we go back to the end of last season, there were a lot of people who thought Aaron Rodgers had played his last down, wouldn't be back in Pittsburgh again, and lo and behold, here we are in mid-May, and he's reached agreement with the Pittsburgh Steelers on a one-year deal worth up to $25 million that returns him to Pittsburgh for his 22nd NFL season.
They just ran out of options, so they had to make it
exactly
work.
It.
And that's what it was like. Mike, Aaron, let's go have a beer and talk about this, because no other team wants us. We got to figure this out.
Pittsburgh? Yeah.
Yeah, it's simple as that. But hey, maybe, just maybe, they keep the 500 or above streak going there with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
True, yeah.
They got a lot riding on them. They're not going to be contenders at all, but it is what it is. Aaron Rodgers coming back for another year, teamed up with his old coach, Mike McCarthy. We'll see how this whole thing hands out for you. All right, when we get to the 1 o'clock hour, we got Bryan Walsh is my guy. He's going to join us, as you know. We got what I need to know to end this whole thing. But we got more baseball to talk about when we come back. And why not talk more baseball? We got Curtis Rogers on the mic.
Hey.
That's coming up next. I'm Michael Bumpus. Curtis Rogers, Bump Stacy.
He is one of the most anticipated prospects in Mariners history.
Here comes Colt Emerson.
He's out there right now wearing number 4 over at third base.
The Mariners' top-ranked prospect and 4th-ranked overall in baseball.
Is Colt Emerson the spark the Mariners offense needs?
We want to do the right thing for Colt. We also want to do the right thing for the Mariners. We think he's the best option.
Complete coverage at SeattleSports.com.
Really hone in on the winning aspects of the game.
And the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
I'm Stacey Ross, and here with my friend Mark Clymer, GM of Wayscar Ford, Isuzu in Auburn. Mark, I know for me, when I go to a dealership, I just don't want to feel pushed into buying something.
Hey, I'm just like you, Stacey. I don't want to feel pressured when I'm trying to buy something either. So we understand that, and so do all of our employees. The bottom line is we'll give you the information that you want. We'll take care of you from beginning to end, and if it works out, great. If it doesn't, we understand. We only want to sell you a car if you want to buy one.
I think the thing that I want most is to be able to trust the person I'm working with. It's a huge investment, and I got to be honest, I don't know a ton about cars.
Second largest thing most people ever buy next to a home. So you're right.
Yeah,
you want to make sure you're buying from a reputable place, you want a warranty, and you want to make sure you're covered for any reason you change your mind. And we offer that. 5 days or 500-mile, 100% money-back guarantee.
And congratulations on 104 years in Auburn. That's a big deal. Check out the 104th anniversary sale going on now with great prices. That's Wayscar Ford Isuzu in Auburn, wayscarford.com.
After years of football and the injuries that go with it, my first thought was always go get surgery. Hey, it's Dave Wyman, but after a consultation with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine, my eyes were open to an alternative to surgery, and I'm talking about stem cell therapy. Well, and my buddy and co-host Bob Stelton, also in pain, and decided to go see Dr. Wagner.
I had a hip issue from 14 years of jiu-jitsu.
How's the pain now?
Everything I did before, I can do just as well. Hitting the heavy bag, sparring, rolling, all of that is back in play. This whole thing has been such a pleasant surprise because I really was of the mindset, I'm going to have to go under the knife. I'm going to have to get surgery. And this really saved me from that. I could not be happier with the results.
Whether it's a hip like Bob had, a shoulder, a knee, a wrist, an ankle, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine.
Do it. You will not regret it.
Hey, get the facts, hear from all the patients I've talked to, and schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Hey, Mike Salk here with Dr. Coogan from Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. And Doc, what do you say to people who are considering those GLP-1 injections for weight loss?
Before you start, ask yourself this. Are you prepared to spend $3,000 to $5,000 per year and stay on the medications long-term to maintain the results? Many prescription weight loss injections require weekly shots, and when the medication is stopped, weight gain is common. And most people don't realize research shows a significant portion of the weight lost can come from muscle, which may slow your metabolism and make keeping the weight off even harder.
From personal experience, I can tell you Eastside Weight Loss Clinic takes a different approach, a doctor-developed program helping people lose 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days.
No injections, no synthetic hormones, no long-term dependence. Instead, we use real food to reset your metabolism, control hunger, and cravings naturally.
So come to their clinic in Kirkland or do the program from anywhere you live with easy remote options. If you want a safe, affordable alternative to weight loss injections,
go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com to keep the weight off for good.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Still planning your summer vacation? Tired of airports and long drives? Anacortes Yacht Charters has a better option. Cruise the San Juan Islands aboard a fully equipped yacht. Take the helm of a bareboat charter or hire a skipper to explore on your terms. Quiet coves, lively harbors, no schedules. Just a tide guide and a sense of adventure. With a fleet of 50 powerboats and sailboats, AYC has options for groups large and small, from beginner to old salt. Start your San Juan adventure at ayc.com/KIRO.
Listen every day to the Bump and Stacy Show for headline rewrites. Powered by Bay Alarm Security Services. Security systems and fire alarms for every business. Bay Alarm. We got you.
Drivers who switch their home and auto with Progressive could save money and time. Other things try to do this, but they really don't. Like the touchscreen at fast food places. It's not like you save time because it takes you longer to use a touchscreen than, I don't know, someone who works there. And another thing, you'd think it would save money because they're not paying a cashier, right? But no, same price. Also, why is there an option to tip? Who am I tipping? Exactly. Anyway, even if you can't save money and time with some things, you could with a Progressive home and auto bundle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Earn an accredited MBA in as few as 16 months for about $21K at University of Maryland Global Campus. Explore 10 specializations, including finance, HR, cyber technology, and more. Plus, showcase the value of your MBA with a comprehensive learner record and digitally demonstrate in-demand skills and credentials to employers. No application fee if you apply by June 1st. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by SHAF.
You're 62 or older, lots of equity in your home, and you want to pull some cash out, but a refinance or HELOC, well, it means a bigger payment. And the cost of selling your home, it's insane. So what should you do? Hey, Brock Hewitt here for Tila Mortgage. You don't need to live at a lower standard than you deserve. You really got three options. Number one, sell your home. Two, get a HELOC or refinance. Or three, get a reverse mortgage. Tila has done the analysis and believes that a reverse mortgage is the most cost-effective way for seniors to get cash out of their homes without selling and having the option of no monthly mortgage payment. Too good to be true? No. Call today and let's compare. Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a name you can trust for truthful, honest, and ethical advice for all your mortgage needs. Give them a call today. 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
Insurance and property taxes are borrower's responsibility. Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Colt Emerson to the rescue. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Is that really what we expect out of this young man? We knew we would see him eventually at some point, and it felt like the Mariners might have been forced to bring him up sooner than they wanted to. And, he had his debut yesterday. Curtis and I were there, standing ovation. It was nice. It was warm. He had a walk, had a good play defensively. But Justin was asked if there's ever really a perfect time to bring up a prospect. This was his answer.
Sure. I mean, I think in a perfect world, it wouldn't have been on 2 hours notice. He was about to go start the AAA game today. But again, there is no perfect time. He's ready. I know I talked to Justin Toole this morning when he called him, and he said, Colt said, great, I'll be right there. Like, he was very matter of fact. There was no jumping up and down, no celebrating. It was like, I'm going to go pack my bag, I'll head right up. He's just wired that way to handle whenever it is the time that we were going to do this. I was confident that Colt would be fine with it. There's no way of knowing with a young player. I think we expect that there'll be an adjustment period. There was for Julio Rodriguez and Cal Raleigh and Cole Young and J.P. Crawford and go around the diamond almost everybody but Randy Rosarena who plays out on that field. All of them had a moment where they landed in the big leagues. They had some success. The big leagues adjusted to them and they had to adjust back. That's very normal, and that's how I expect this to go.
We're waiting for this moment. We knew it was going to happen. I don't think it's fair to expect him to hit the ground running and to have immediate success. But just like Justin mentioned, I mean, there are times where Julio looked good, and then the league adjusts. That's just part of the maturation process in MLB.
Yeah, and the thing about Julio when he came up is that his first month in the bigs was a real struggle for him. He was not getting any calls that went his way, especially on a lot of close pitches where he would get struck out looking a lot. Didn't hit his first home run in the bigs until I believe it was the month of May when he first hit his home run, which was in Miami. I wonder, though, Bump, with the Mariners being what they are through 48 games this season, 22 and 26 is their record as of May 18th. I wonder if people are maybe I hope that people are not sort of looking at Colt Emerson as like, all right, he'll save us.
Right.
Like this is the reinforcement that this team needed. Like this is the guy who is going to right the ship all on his own. Like here he is finally. Like let's put all the expectations and all the pressure on this kid who's not even 21 years old yet. That I think is not going to work out well, especially if you heap those expectations onto somebody like him. Now, if you allow him the ability to maybe fail a couple of times, which I think he's going to probably go 0 for 4 a few times over the next month. He's probably going to go 0 for 5 a few times over the next month as he tries to figure out. I mean, look, he said yesterday that 90-mile-an-hour pitch from Lucas Giolito was the fastest 90-mile-an-hour ball he's ever seen in his life. There's just nothing that can prepare you for what you see at the big league level. There's nothing that can prepare you for the highest level of any sport. All the years of minor league baseball and high school baseball that he's played, like it was all leading up to that moment yesterday. I was impressed how he didn't look overwhelmed yesterday, and did actually make some good contact. Flew out twice yesterday to right field, but of all the balls that were hit off the bats of Mariners yesterday, I don't think any of them were hit with the with the authority that Colt Emerson did yesterday.
I think the toughest transition in sports, and if you have a different opinion, text it in. Let me know what you think. 866-979-3776 is going from minor league baseball to Major League Baseball. There's a reason why we see 28-year-olds make their debut. In football, how many times have we seen a rookie hit the NFL and just ball out? In basketball, it happens all the time. Guys are ready to go. In hockey, it happens every once in a while. I think it's tough in hockey, too. You see guys get sent down to Coachella if we're talking about our Shane Wrights or whatnot. But in baseball, it is so hard to make that transition. So the fact that you mentioned that he looked comfortable out there, he didn't seem overwhelmed, right? And I'm a good body language and vibe type of person. Didn't seem like he was overwhelmed. Now, that's his debut. And I think when a rookie has their debut, expectations are extremely low. No one expects anything out of you. But as you get your at-bats and get more experience, then I think some people might raise their expectations, maybe unfairly sometimes. I just want him have a game or two where he knocks a run or two in and he looks good. Be solid defensively. I think that's where he should focus on, just being good at that corner.
You know what's funny is that when Jared Kelenic first came up in 2021, he had, in his second game in the bigs, he had one of maybe his best game as a pro, where I think he had a home run and had a triple in that game, went like 3 for 4. And people were like, oh my gosh, like this is who we've been promised all along. And I wonder if like maybe there's some worry that like Colt Emerson will be, too good too early in a way where somebody looks at what if he has a good game tonight, let's say he hits a home run and drives in 3 or 4 runs, and then that becomes the expectation for him every time out. And it's like, well, maybe it's just a really good game that he had. Like Julio doesn't even have, games like that every single night. Like I just hope that we don't make the same mistakes that we made with Jared Kelenic in looking at, every single performance as like a life or death scenario here. I think allowing Colt Emerson to fail is ultimately going to help him in the long run. It's when you respond from those failures, that's, I think, when you are truly the best ball player you can be, because a lot of these guys that make the big leagues, especially at his age, have never really experienced that failure before.
Oh, yeah. Those are the guys who are hitting 500 in high school.
Yeah.
And just the game is easy for them. The pitching, they're seeing every pitch. They recognize stuff. And the fact that he described that 90-mile-an-hour fastball is one of the fastest pitches he's ever seen, this lets you know, I like the vulnerability, too.
Right.
I like being like, yeah, this is my first game in the bigs. Things are a bit different. I think it'd be some athletes can fool themselves and tell the media that it's just another game. It's not just another game. That was your childhood dreams came true. So I expect him to feel that way in that moment.
What'd you make of the basically 2 hours notice that they gave him that he was going to make his major league debut? He got the call while he was in Tacoma and then having to weave his way through afternoon traffic. Now, it was a Sunday, so maybe traffic wasn't so bad going from Tacoma to Seattle, but that's a tough call to make it on time.
My man was suited, ready to go. He had his uniform on and everything. He walks into the skip's office and they're sending him. That's kind of cool though, that you can go from Tacoma, short drive, and now you're making your debut. Where's he from? Like, did his parents get there?
He's from Ohio. Unfortunately, no, his parents did not make it in time for his debut yesterday. I believe they will be there today at the ballpark. So if you see a bunch of people wearing Colt Emerson jerseys, I imagine they're related in some way to him. But it stinks that they weren't there for his debut. Hopefully they're there for his first hit,
That'd be nice.
All the other first. Unfortunately, you can't get the debut back, but there's still a lot more that he can accomplish.
You know what was my first yesterday? I got a foul ball.
What?
My first ever foul ball.
How did you, Michael Bumpus? We're 3 hours into this show today. I would have let off with that. I would say that's almost as good as a hole in one.
First ever. And it hit the seat next to me. The seat next to me was wide open. Actually, it hit off this girl's knee. Bow. Hits the seat. And I just grab it and look at her like.
It counts.
Like, nah,
still counts.
This is me. This
still
is me.
counts.
And she was like, oh, that's fine. I go, I know
Did
it's
they
fine.
give you one of those cards?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It was whoever batted before Sheets. That's who it was.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, first time.
I'm in awe.
It's been a good year for me, Curtis.
Yeah, I know. Wow. Go buy a lottery ticket.
Let's get it. All right, man. We come back. Bryan Walters, my man, Seahawks radio analyst, will join us next here on the Bump Stacy Show. We got Curtis Rogers filling in.
Have you downloaded the Seattle Sports app?
We're going to have a challenge right here.
What are you waiting for?
Listen to this.
Every pitch.
Here comes the 3-2.
Every game.
Swung on and missed. Got him.
One app for free.
How about that, folks?
The Seattle Sports app. Every game.
Julio racing back.
Right in the palm of your hands.
Makes a leap and makes the catch.
Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcasts.
They got it. Wow.
The Seattle Sports app.
Hey, when was the last time you inspected your crawl space or your attic? What's the last time you went in there just to see what kind of shape they're in? Oh, never? Yeah, same. I don't want to go in there. Most homeowners completely avoid those areas, but it is important to check on them regularly. It's why you call Crawl Pros. They'll come out and go where you don't want to. Hey, it's Mike Salk here. And yes, when Crawl Pros came out to my place, they realized we had a little problem with our insulation. So they've set about fixing it, and they did a great job. But if you've got the same problem, they'll also look to see what kind of energy rebates are available. Right now, local utility companies are incentivizing homeowners to make their home more energy efficient with proper insulation. And some homes qualify for several $1,000s in savings with these utility rebate programs. So don't just assume your crawl space and attic are in great condition. Do what I did. Call Crawl Pros today and schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection and find out if you've got water intrusion, mold, rodent issues, or even damaged insulation. Schedule your crawl space and attic inspection at crawlpros.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of a car rolling into Valvoline Instant Oil Change. The sound of another savvy driver getting an oil change from trained pros. The sound of not having to leave your car while we quickly change your oil. At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, there's no hassle with appointments or dealer wait times. That's one smart bell.
Dave Wyman here, and you've heard me talk about a local company for over a year now I really love working with, Harley Exteriors. You can expect a no-pressure consultation, they're great people to work with, and their windows are beautiful. I recently met with them, and I was excited to hear about the many Seattle sports listeners they've worked with. And now, Harley Exteriors has stepped up with a can't-miss offer. Right now, get $450 off each new window. $1,000 off each patio or entry door, 12-month or 18-month no interest, no payment options, plus $200 off your final project total. If that isn't enough to get you started on a new project, I don't know what is. Schedule a consultation just like I did. Give them a call at 833-HARLEY, that's HARLEY, or go to HarleyExteriors.com.
Minimum purchase of 4 windows required for window discount. Qualifying windows must be 36 by 36 or larger. No size minimum on patio or entry doors. Financing subject to credit approval. Cannot be combined with other offers outside this promotion. Offer valid through May 31st.
Feeling lucky? Don't miss the Lucky Spring Classic Collector Car, Truck, and Boat Auction. Saturday, June 6th at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Up to 200 collector, vintage, and classic vehicles, many going to the highest lucky bidder with absolutely no reserve. Get lucky, get local, and get in line. Visit luckyoldcar.com for a list and pictures of auction vehicles. Or call 206-467-6531 for bidding and consignment details.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Shopping for a new Mazda? Shop the West Coast's largest Mazda dealer, Mazda of Everett. With more new Mazdas in stock than any dealer in the region. Shop over 780 new Mazdas. Click on the Mazda of Everett price. At Mazda of Everett, exceptional customer satisfaction is the standard. Plus, at Mazda of Everett, you negotiate directly with the owner. Locally owned, trusted by thousands. Shop MazdaofEverett.com and see why we're #1.
In 2026, Bay Alarm celebrates 80 years of security. For the Puget Sound, that means local service including burglar and fire alarm systems, 24/7 in-house monitoring, and custom security designed to work with business operations. Bay Alarm has real people rooted in your community looking out for your business. After 8 decades and 3 generations of family ownership, our promise is still the same. We got you. Learn more at bayalarm.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners looking to bounce back tonight against the White Sox after being swept by the Padres. First pitch is at 6:40. We got Wu on the mound. The Western Conference Finals begin tonight as OKC takes on Wemby and the Spurs. We have a Game 7 in the NHL. Buffalo force a win or go home game against Montreal. Puck drops at 4:30. And congrats to Aaron Rye becoming the first English-born player to win the PGA Championship since 1919.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross. Here we go now.
Final hour of the Bump and Stacy Show. We got Curtis Rogers filling in for Stacy. We're joined now by my man, one of the best golfers I know, great analyst, Bryan Walters. What's up, B?
Man, Bum, what an intro. Are you kidding me? I never get that from you. I'm flattered right now.
Well, because I usually don't do the intros. You gotta take that up with Stacy.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Usually it is. Hey, and Curtis, man, I got to say bear down, as always.
Thank you, B.
It's tradition for you, so
Appreciate
bear down.
That.
Yep.
Fair down to you,
go.
B-Walt.
Stacy just hops on okay with Brian. All right, Brian, what's going on? Oh man. It's that time of the year, B. It's May. The players have reported. You got OTAs get started. The offseason programs are rolling around. What do you remember most about this time of year?
Oh man, this is. I'm not gonna lie to you. Maybe people don't want to hear this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. This is always the fun time. This is when guys bonded. I don't know what you did, Bump, but this is when we get in there, we get our work done, and you're only allowed 6 hours at the facility, something like that. And so we'd be out and we'd all be hitting the golf course. I mean, it was such a good time. We develop a lot of my friendships that I have today during this time. I mean, that's it, because you're out at 2 p.m., 3 p.m., you're going straight to the course, you're playing 18, you're going back, and then you're just re-racking it the next day. And I thought it's such a valuable time for a team. Just one, obviously you're going to hone in on the playbook. You're in the classroom a lot, but it's low key, ask a lot of questions, and then go spend time with your teammates. So that's the one thing I really, really remember most about the off season. And then obviously once OTAs hit, mini camp gets a little more intense. You gotta take care of yourself a little more. But those weightlifting days and the meeting days, those were fun, man. Those were good times where you just get to kind of spend time with all your teammates.
B-Walt, last year, Mike McDonald spoke a lot about how important it was that they did have 100% attendance at OTAs. How important is getting majority of these guys in the building this time of year? I mean, it's not something that I think we all really have kind of valued, especially out of the 2026 or 2025 season, I should say, because they won the Super Bowl. Like that's the ultimate goal, but the groundwork was laid in these OTAs. So how important is overall attendance for these things?
Yeah, there's two answers to this, really. The answer for the Seahawks is not as important. It was a long season, right? I mean, you got done in February. You had the shorter off season than any other team in the league except the Patriots. And the one thing you do want to make sure is your guys aren't burnt out. That you get time, they get time away, they get to have a vacation, spend some time with family, and make sure that they are refreshed and recharged when they get back in the facility for workouts and OTAs. I think that for the Seahawks is one of the most important things, because man, that offseason goes quick when you go to the Super Bowl. Done it twice, and you're like, wow, we are already at workouts. We are already at OTAs. We're practicing already, getting ready for the next season. And that's different. So, but other teams, they were done in early January. And so for them, I think it's important everyone's there. Something didn't go right for you, and you gotta get everyone on the same page, and you're doing a full rehaul. So, there's two different answers, I think, depending on the situation you're in. So for the Seahawks, I don't think it's as important. As some guys should be there, but as far as some of these vets, some of these guys that have been around, they all got their own trainers, they all got their own guys that they're working with. I mean, if I'm going to be completely serious here or completely honest, the time I came into training camp, the best shape of my life was during the lockout. I don't know about you, Bump. You had experienced the lockout, right?
No, I didn't.
You didn't? You were done then?
Yeah, I was done.
Is that right? Okay, done by then.
Thanks for reminding me. Appreciate it.
I can't remember, man. Geez. But the lockout, everyone was able to just kind of do their own thing, and I probably, the whole limit in the training room or in the weight room and all that stuff hurts you a little bit. So we were able to just be at UW for hours on hours and get in good shape and ready to roll. And man, I came into training camp, best shape of my life. Probably the best football player I've ever been in my life was that year, and I was on my own. So guys work differently. It's all about the individual there. So it's about how these guys handle either their time away or time at the facility.
What do you think the focus was or should have been for JSN this offseason? I mean, he's coming off of one of the best seasons we've ever seen as a receiver. Naturally, I think the outside looking in could be like, well, he's perfect. He's ready to go. There's nothing to work on. But you and I know, as receivers and athletes, there's always something to tweak. What would have been your focus if you were JSN?
If I was JSN, what would have been my focus? Well, I'd be getting a financial advisor, that's for sure. That'd be the number one thing. Making sure that's invested nicely. But no, for real, JSN, I think the biggest thing for him is to make sure that he just comes in strong as he's done every year. And what I mean by that is I don't think he has missed a game his entire career. I think he has played 17 games in every single season. In all, 4 seasons now? whatever it is for JSN, and he has shown he can be on the field every single game. So for him, I think he's at that time now where he got the big deal, he got the big contract, and now if something, you start getting little soft tissue stuff, you know how everyone starts chirping, oh man, he got paid, now he didn't work as hard. You know how that goes, and it's not true. It probably isn't true. He's probably working harder than anybody out there. But I think that's the one thing that you want to make sure you're completely on top of, is just making sure you're strong, coming into the OTAs, coming into the off season, where you don't have that first injury of your career. You don't have that time when you're not on the field. I think that's going to be the thing JSN can do best. So, he's got the hands, he's got everything. It's make sure you come in just as good a shape as you've come in the last few years.
Sticking in that receiver room, Rashid Shaheed signs the big contract this offseason to remain a Seahawk. Took him a while to get acclimated here in Seattle. Was obviously a force in the special teams game with the 3 kick returns over the regular season and postseason. Well, how do the Seahawks better incorporate him, though, into their passing game here in 2026?
So I think that's a good question, and that's a very unknown question, because you could go – my thought on that, Curtis, is I don't think he has to do more than what he did last season. And the reason I say that, and a lot of people don't like this answer, but I'm going to say it anyway, is because I want JSN to get the most of the touches. I really do. Like, he is that good and he's that reliable. If Sam Darnold continues to target JSN 60, 70% of the time like he has, I'm okay with that. And so what that does for the other receivers, well, unfortunately, it limits their targets. So if Rashid Shaheed has to only gets 3-4 targets a game, look, I want a couple of those as deep balls, just as they have. I want him to be the guy that stretches the offense, to just put that fear in the defense, saying, okay, look, JSN is over here, but this guy over here, he's fast as well. So, and he can really stretch the defense. And that's kind of where I liked his role there. I liked what he did, because I don't want them to force other receivers the ball 8, 10 times a game. That's not what the Seahawks are. It's get the ball to JSN, your guy. Until teams will take that away, then you can use these guys. But for right now, I think you just keep using them the way you have. They have so many guys that can do the same thing, really. I mean, what I'm going to be most curious about is when Torrey Horton comes back. And how are they going to kind of interchange Torrey Horton and Rashid Shaheed? How are those guys going to be on the field at the same time? Because they're kind of the same threat, They're kind of the speed guys, take the top off of defense. So it'll be interesting to see those guys on the field at the same time, and who kind of picks up the most reps. Because I love Rashid Shaheed as wide receiver. Like, he can do a lot of things, but the Seahawks re-signed him basically for his special teams ability and how he can change the game there, that we saw almost 3 or 4 different times last season.
AB, have you had a chance to look at the Seahawks schedule?
I have, Bump. I have.
What are your thoughts? What jumps out to you?
Well, first off, we get a lot of 5:20 p.m. shows, pre and post game shows. So we're gonna have some late nights. We're gonna have a lot of those. That was the first thing that jumped out at me, which is awesome. I mean, 6 primetime games, I think. Is that what? Am I remembering that correctly? Yeah. 6 potential with the last one against the Rams. I mean, that's awesome. Well deserved, and shows just people want to watch the Seahawks. They want to watch this defense. They want to watch a lot of these guys play, and they love the storyline behind the Seahawks, which is awesome. But then with that, the reason a lot of these are primetime games is because they are tough matchups. I mean, you have the only reason the Seahawks aren't the toughest schedule in the league is because they don't have to play themselves. I mean, when you really break it down and you look at it, and I think the Cardinals are maybe one of the toughest in the league, but it's because they play the Seahawks twice, right? A 14-3 team or whatever it is, and Seahawks aren't on their own schedule, so that's it. If you take all the Seahawks opponents, I mean, it's gonna be a marathon this year. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be every week is a tough matchup. It feels like, maybe the Cardinals aren't, Raiders maybe not. Obviously, I think they play them, but again, there's more incentive on that game because Clint Kubiak's there, and the Raiders have some really good players. So I just don't think there's of course there's not an easy win in the NFL, but truly this season this schedule, there's not an easy win. It is every week will be a battle.
B-Wall, you played on the previous Super Bowl winner here in Seattle, and that was an adjustment you guys probably had to make in your title defense, was the number of primetime games that your team was playing. Is that something you felt as a player? It was like, man, we got another primetime game this week. We just had one. Like, what's the difference in getting ready for a game that has a 5:20 kickoff rather than your typical 1 p.m. one?
Well, during the week, nothing. Everything stayed the same, and I think that's what Pete Carroll was best at, and I think that's what Coach McDonald was best at too, is making every game feel the same. Now, when it becomes game day, and sidelines are different, everything's different. Honestly, the primetime games I wouldn't trade it for. I would have 17 of them if I could. That would be the best case scenario, because they're so much fun. They're so much more fun, and sometimes when you go from a primetime game to that 1 o'clock game, it's kind of like, oh man, this isn't as exciting as that primetime game was. You kind of have a little letdown. You're like, wow, man, I missed that. The light under the lights, and something we all grew up, in high school playing under the lights. In college, you play under the lights a lot, and that's the feeling you get in some of these primetime games. You're just under the lights. Everyone's talking about you all week. Everyone's highlighting your matchup, and there's nothing better. So as far as getting ready for the game, you go through the exact same prep throughout the week. As far as game day and the excitement it brings, there's nothing like primetime games.
He's going to have a full offseason in this offense, in this playbook. What are your expectations for him? Will he be the true number 2 receiver? You still see Cooper Kupp doing that. I've sprinkled in A.J. Barner into this situation as well. So what do you think?
Well, I think you're going to throw it deep to him, Bump. Just kind of like how I mentioned a little earlier. It's just he's going to be the guy that takes the top off the defense, and I wouldn't change that at all. I think, and the thing is, now everyone's learning a new offense, and I don't think it'll be that different. I don't think it's going to be, they're not totally going from to different system to a different system, right? You're not going from all of a sudden a number system or to a whatever name calling system and different route. I mean, it's all pretty much the same. He'll have his own little wrinkles to it. So that will be, they'll all be learning at the same pace. But again, the advantage that Rashid had last year was he had played under Clint Kubiak before with the Saints. Clint Kubiak was OC down there, and so I think that made that transition a little bit easier. But will he be the number 2 receiver? Sometimes he will be. I think there's going to be times Cooper Kupp will be the number 2. I think there's times Torrey Horton's going to be the number 2. All kind of pending on the scheme, and maybe it'll be week to week who they're playing, kind of what matchups they like. But that's kind of just how I see those. I mean, it's really when you just go to the, you go JSN obviously is above everyone else, but then you go Cooper Kupp, you go Torrey Horton, you go Rashid Shaheed. It's like, man, that's a good 2, 3, 4 punch right there that you can interchange any of those guys.
B-Walt, last one from me. Of the Seahawks draft picks, which one are you most excited to get eyes on?
I'm going to have to go with, man, it's tough. I'm really excited for all those top 3 guys. Those guys all seem fun. But if I had to pick one, I think I'm not as excited about Jadarian Price because we know what his role is going to be. He's going to be the starter. He's going to be that guy. I'm excited to see what Devin Neal can do. I'm excited to see that kind of that long body, aggressive corner in this system and just see how he can work his way into the starting lineup, how he can make an impact on this team. Because to me, that aggressive style in the corner, not afraid to go up and make a stop behind the line of scrimmage, not afraid to go in for a big hit, is that Devin Witherspoon mentality. And I want to see how that kind of comes out with the Seahawks team and see how he can fight for that starting job. So I'll be out at OTAs, I think, next week, and I'll be looking at him and just seeing what he brings. And again, OTAs are probably the worst thing to judge someone on as far as aggressiveness and hitting and how he's willing to take a hit, because you can't do that. You can't do that at all. But I'll just keep watching him, watch how he moves, watching how he's recognizing plays, stuff like that. So I'm excited to see him and how he can crack that lineup.
All right. He's Seahawks Radio Network analyst Bryan Walters. B, I appreciate you. Talk to you soon.
Hey, you got it, fellas. We'll see you.
Thanks, B. Walt.
All All right, let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Bump, first down to you. Who has been rumored to be a potential cut that would surprise you?
This is rumored by 1 or 2 outlets, not a lot, but they're talking about Jay Reed. Jay Reed's going to hit the cap for about $7.3 million next year. About 2 have been guaranteed 5 days after the Super Bowl. And they're talking about Devin Eastern, and then 7th-round draft pick really taking over for him. And I think, listen, if you get into OTAs and training camp and Devin is just doing amazing things and Jay Reed isn't where he's supposed to be, then okay, I think you entertain it. But Jay Reed is such a big part of this defense, his personality and what they do. And he only played in he had a career low when it comes to snaps, about 50 to 55% of snaps on that defensive line. But guess what? When you are deep, you don't need a 10, 11-year vet to play every single down. So there's an outlet or two that said this was a rumor. I don't like the rumor. I don't think it's true. I think Eastern would have to just play his you-know-what off and Jay Reed coming out of shape. I don't see that happening, but if it does, I trust the analysis of that coaching staff. 2nd down.
Bump, why do you think the NFL decided to put a Super Bowl rematch between the Seahawks and Patriots in Week 1?
Curtis, for some reason, I thought this happened almost every year. I don't know what I was thinking. But Week 1, it doesn't really happen. It's happened twice before this. Panthers and Broncos in 2016, Vikings and Chiefs in 1970. Since 2016, there have been 4 other Super Bowl rematches, but not in Week 1. In 2017, we have the Patriots against the Falcons in Week 7. In 2023, you have the Eagles against the Chiefs in Week 11. In 2024, you got the Niners against the Chiefs in Week 7. And then in 2025, you have the Chiefs against the Eagles in Week 2. Super Bowl rematch, going to grab a lot of eyes. Numbers say last year in 2025 when the Chiefs met the Eagles in Week 2, 33 million people watched that game. And I think the NFL is chasing that number. They're trying to surpass that number. So not only do you have a Super Bowl rematch, you have all the drama that comes with the Patriots. You got people who, unlike Stacey Ross watches sports, but she watches her reality TV. There's a demographic that she rocks with that will be watching this game just to see Vrabel on the sidelines, just to see all the drama that's going on. So the NFL, they're not going to come out and say, we saw an opportunity to tap into a different demographic, and we're going to use that opportunity Week 1. They're not going to say that, but they will imply just by having these guys playing each other Week 1. I also think it's an interesting matchup, right? Can Vrabel, who got these guys, 3 to 4 wins the year before to a Super Bowl, bounce back and do it again? Can you prove it? Can this Seahawks team, who lost some key components on defense, recharge, refill on defense, and come out and get it? And you have a new offensive coordinator. There are some storylines in between all the Dan Russini and Mike Vrabel drama that I think is appealing to the everyday football guy. But then there's a storyline that appeals to the not so everyday football guy or gal, and that is the pop culture, the drama that's going on with Russini and Mike Vrabel. So yes, NFL, I'm not mad at this matchup. Thought it was going to be the Bears, but you're not going to come out and give the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Her and her real husband were spotted at dinner over the weekend.
Good for them.
According to TMZ.
Work it out. I love love.
Let love win. 3rd down. Bump, why are you okay with Urban Meyer losing his grievance case against the Jaguars?
My man was trying to collect $30 million. And if I was $30 million or owed $30 million and felt like I was done wrong, I would go after it too. But the fact of the matter is, Urban Meyer did people wrong. He kicked his kicker. His kicker is stretching. He says, I was in like a lunge position, got one knee on the ground, one knee up. And he comes over and says, hey, make your freaking kicks, and kicks him. The kicker looks at him and says, don't you freaking kick me like that ever again. Urban says, I'm the head ball coach. I'll do whatever I want to do. And who testified against him was the kicker, the long snapper, and the punter. And what's ironic about this whole situation is that Urban Meyer, you come from a special teams background. You got the head coaching job at Utah after being the head coach at Bowling Green, but you're a special teams guy. So treat your kickers with some respect. Also, my man skipped the team flight and stayed back and caught up with his boo. It's just, I don't understand how Urban Meyer would think that he could win this. Maybe his lawyer's like, look, there's a slight chance we might as well go after it. But no, I'm not mad at Urban Meyer for not getting this money. He's making money on TV. He's a great analyst. He knows the game. He knows football. He seems like a dude's dude, can get along with the guys on the podium or the panel. But no, you shouldn't get this money. It was all bad with the Jags. And you kicked a grown man. What that grown man got up and kicked you back? Yeah. Come on, man.
Even kicking a child.
Might be worse kicking a child.
Yeah. Kicking a grown man.
Come on, man. What are you doing?
4th down. All right, Bump, what do you think will be the best part about this new Brian Fleury offense?
Brian Fleury, 7 years under Shanahan. I look at the film, I look at the numbers. This is an opportunity for A.J. Barner to assert himself as a top 3, top 4 tight end in this league. If you look at what Shanahan was able to do with George Kittle in just 11 games last year, 69 targets, 57 receptions, 628 yards, and 7 touchdowns. A.J. Barner played in every game last year. 68 targets, 52 receptions, 519 yards, and 6 touchdowns. I think that fullback play is going to be big, but I think tight end play can be even bigger. He could be the legit number 3 option out there. We'll see what Rashid Shaheed does. He could be the number 2, maybe Horton, maybe Cooper Kupp. We know who number 1 is going to be, but I think that this is the year that the rest of the league recognizes the talent that A.J. Barner has. He can block. He's a route runner. He can catch the football. He plays with an intensity. In this offense, at the end of this year, my man has the opportunity to be a top 3 or 4 tight end in this league because Fleury's going to feed him.
I always look at, like, teams with great tight end play, and I've looked at the Seahawks historically and been like, man, I wish we could have that here. That'd be really cool. Because remember last offseason, they unveiled the 50th anniversary team?
Yeah.
There were no tight ends on it, which is crazy because, like, it's a pretty important position out on the field, especially, in the passing game and whatnot. And now, like, seeing the trajectory that A.J. Barner's been on in his first 2 seasons, where his first year was kind of like, okay, he's pretty good. Like, that's not bad for a 4th-round pick. And now it's like, okay, now hold on. They might have something here. Like, I'm really excited for what he could possibly do next year. It's funny because last year the Seahawks got a lot of guys that exceeded expectations and played beyond what we had thought they were going to be. And I kind of look at this upcoming season like, who's going to be that guy this year? Who are going to be those guys this year that potentially play above expectations, and that kind of elevates the whole team? I'm very interested to see who those guys might be.
Let's get it. That's how they that's what they do. They find these diamonds in the rough, develop them. Boom, let's go. Drake Thomas, Ty Okada.
Yeah.
Let's go get it, man.
All of them.
Okay, we got What I Need to Know coming up at 1:45. Get your questions in, 866-979-3776. More football talk coming back. I'm Michael Bumpus. That's Curtis Rogers.
Have you downloaded the Seattle Sports app?
We're going to have a challenge right here.
What are you waiting for?
Listen to this.
Every pitch.
Here comes the 3-2.
Every game.
Swung on and missed. Got him.
One app for free.
How about that, folks?
The Seattle Sports app. Every game.
Julio racing back.
Right in the palm of your hands.
Makes a leap and makes the catch.
Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcasts.
They got it. Wow.
The Seattle Sports app.
Woodworker, check. Metalworker or material handler, check. Equipment Sales and Surplus in Auburn offers competitive pricing on leading brands like Jet, Powermatic, Wilton, Bailey, and others. Whether you're a hobbyist or a fabrication shop needing metal forming machines, they have hundreds of machines and accessories. The only dealer offering scratch and dent and discounted items. Check them out in Auburn. EquipmentSalesandSurplus.com. Your go-to for woodworking, metalworking, or material handling. That's EquipmentSalesandSurplus.com.
With Popeye's new $6 faves menu, you can get this 3-piece chicken, this 3-piece tenders, this chicken sandwich, or these 2 regular sides for just $6 a piece. I know you can't see what I see, but trust me, those bold Louisiana flavors look so good, you might just have to get them all. Now there's an idea.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants. Price may vary. Terms apply.
Bob Stelton here, and if you've had LASIK or EVO ICL to get out of those glasses and contacts, you know how freeing it was. I had LASIK, but when I got older, I started to need reading glasses to see my phone or a restaurant menu. That's when I went to K2 Vision for refractive lens exchange, and it was a game changer. If you'd like to rid yourself from all glasses, including readers and bifocals, learn about K2 Vision RLE at their free live webinar this Thursday at noon. noon. It's a perfect opportunity to meet Doctors Kopstein and King and have them answer your questions about K2 Vision RLE, like how is RLE different from LASIK and EVO ICL? Why won't I get cataracts after RLE? How does the light adjustable lens work? And lots more. The light adjustable lens is the premier technology for those who have had LASIK and now want to get rid of reading glasses. Plus, never get a cataract. K2 Vision has done more light adjustable lens procedures than anybody else in the country. Join the free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Register at K2VisionRLE.com. K2VisionRLE.com.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends at Xfinity. Let's say you got a gamer down in the basement, like Titus playing his video games. Maybe a streamer watching shows in the living room like my daughters. A Zoom call for me in the kitchen, and every single one of them is asking you the same question. Why is the Wi-Fi so slow? Well, now imagine Wi-Fi so intelligent it actually heals itself when there's a problem. Wi-Fi that reaches every corner of your home and makes everything in it work together. Imagine fiber-powered reliability. We're talking 99.999%. Imagine Wi-Fi built for speed with everything included, your data, your equipment, the most reliable Wi-Fi, all in one price. And that price, you can lock it in for 5 years. Same price, no contracts, no commitments, and no surprises. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. 5 years of predictability on the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi with our very best equipment. Imagine that. Some restrictions apply. Select plans only. 1-800-XFI and ITY.
Lumen Field on Seahawks game days is your key to unlocking premium hospitality, views, and experiences. Host a memorable event in your own private game day suite. Or see an up-close, unique perspective from sideline and end zone field seats. To learn more about all the ways you can elevate your Seahawks game day at Lumen Field, visit Seahawks.com/premium.
Mariners and White Sox tonight at T-Mobile. 6:40 first pitch, pregame at 5:30. Listen live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy. Pretty much hands off, They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bump Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Curtis Rogers filling in for Stacy on this fine Monday. This is the Bump Stacy Show. Half an hour left. Get your questions in for what I need to know. Our last segment every day. 866-979-3776. Get them in now. Don't wait. All right. So last year, Curtis, we got some good performances by some guys we didn't expect to get performances from. Ty Okada came in, held it down. He had one bad game against the Bucks. After that, my man was solid.
Fine.
Then you got Drake Thomas coming in. You start off with Tyrese Knight at that backer spot. Drake Thomas comes in. He gives you love. I think Josh Jobe, we felt like he could be something good, and then he kind of just ran with it as well. So to get back to the promised land, Super Bowl, something that few teams have done, gotten back to the big game in back-to-back years, let alone win that thing, you're going to need performances by some people that you don't expect or have them outperform your expectations. When you look at this offense and this defense as it stands right now, who are some names that you think, yeah, that guy's got a ball for us to get back?
I think there are a couple of guys, and I look more towards the offensive side of the ball for guys that I want to see outperform expectations in 2026 in order for the Seahawks to get back. One guy, and honestly, I don't even know when we're going to see him because there was a lot of mystery surrounding why he didn't play in the second half of last year, recovering from that shin injury, and that's Torrey Horton.
Mm-hmm.
When he played, explosive. Was a really nice threat offensively in that passing game. I think he still managed to have, 5 touchdowns a year ago in just limited action, had 13 receptions total a year ago. 5 of those went to the house, and he also had a punt return touchdown. So he scored 6 touchdowns in total for the 2025 Super Bowl champion Seahawks. The unfortunate thing is that he never played after November 2nd? Yeah, we didn't see him again after that Commanders game in which he scored 2 touchdowns in that one. I think if he comes back healthy and is sort of what he was prior to that injury, where a guy who could kind of take the top off the defense and be a force in the return game, then all of a sudden now you're looking at another threat offensively where some of that responsibility that has been left to JSN and Cooper Kupp and Rashid Shaheed, which I think that's a really good top 3 of your receiver core, all of a sudden now Torrey Horton kind of factors in again.
Yeah, I think that's a good pull. I think people don't forget Torrey Horton, but forget about how impactful he was with limited receptions, right? You touched the paint 5 times. You have a punt to the house as well. He was impactful, so I like that pick. I'm going to go with, I think this is a kind of obvious one because I don't know what people's expectations are for this dude, but Jadarian Price, he's got to be a number 1 type running back. And maybe some people are looking at him and saying, well, with Zach Charbonnet coming back halfway through the season, hopefully, knock on wood, we're not going to need that much out of him. Okay, but until then, Jadarian has to be that guy. What does that guy look like to me? I don't know, 20 touches a game, maybe 80, 90 yards a game. We'll say 6 games to the season, you get Charbonnet back, maybe 4 or 5 touchdowns. What you lose to Zach Charbonnet is a guy inside the 20 that is going to get north-south and score the football. Mm-hmm. And I think Jadarian has that in him. He showed it at Notre Dame. He's also showed the big playability. But you have to be able to take some pressure off of Sam Darnold and allow Fleury to call a football game the way he wants to. And we all know they want to run the football first. So maybe it's an obvious one, but Jadarian Price has got to exceed whatever expectations. I don't even know what I have for him. Maybe going out, give him like 700 yards, 800 yards, and 6 touchdowns.
My one hope for Price is that by the end of the year, he's the team's leading rusher.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to see him, 700, 800 yards. If he goes beyond 800, that run game is just fine. The weight of being a first-round pick in the NFL is definitely magnified, especially when you're a running back, because of how rare it is for that position to be taken in the first round. But where the Seahawks were in the draft and where that running back position was, it was a absolute necessity for them to take him where they got him at pick 32. And I think the Seahawks did the absolute right thing in taking him, just because you were not going to be able to fill that running back spot to the best of their ability in free agency, especially seeing, what a lot of these guys got in terms of total value. Even the guys that signed the franchise tag, what was it, Breece Hall ended up getting more per year than Ken Walker got. And, I mean, Ken Walker signed, I think it was the biggest free agent deal for a running back ever, even eclipsing what Saquon Barkley got with the Eagles. And like Ken Walker, really good running back, one of the best running backs in Seahawks franchise history. Certainly, in probably the conversation of like top 7 or 8 guys to ever run the ball in a Seahawks uniform. But I think that money was just too rich for the Seahawks, what they were willing to pay. And honestly, like Price, I think over the course of what his Seahawks career could be, probably presents maybe the same amount or even a greater upside than what Ken Walker was here in Seattle.
Yeah, I would agree with that. How about this name here, Curtis? A guy who needs to exceed expectations. Damn, I lost him. Where was he? Anthony Bradford. Now,
I would love it if he exceeded expectations.
If Anthony Bradford is able to fend off Bo Stevens and allow Bo to develop, maybe sprinkle him in here and there. It's rare that your offensive linemen play every single down. Guys get hurt and all that. But if Anthony Bradford can exceed expectations, there's a reason why he's still on this ball club. If he can exceed expectations and you have that same 5 throughout the season, I think you're moving in the right directions. I'm not mad at Bo Stevens get some burn. Hey, man, if he wins the job, he wins the job. But if Anthony Bradford is able to fight off Bo Stevens, that lets you know his offseason has been great. It has been great. He's in great shape, and he's understanding what the coaches need from him.
I mean, obviously the tape, when Bradford would make those mistakes that he made, it would get amplified because it was pretty, there were some pretty egregious mistakes, but there's a reason why this coaching staff continues to go with him at right guard over any other option. And I think you look at what he is able to do, he's a big guy, hard to move. And I think the Seahawks offensive line continuity is a really important thing with them. And if Bradford can put another year under his belt, I think they're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, Bradford is big. If he can do it, then I'm feeling good. Here's one new guy, Dante Fowler. Because I expect him to be a spell guy, not a guy who's going to have 7, 8, 9 sacks, but a guy who is going to be fundamentally sound, be where he's supposed to be. If he can do what D-Law did.
Oh, yeah.
Not necessarily the numbers, but just
the impact.
Yeah, the impact. Goodness gracious.
Being a veteran.
This defense could be amazing again.
It's wild looking at the veteran experience on this defensive line. DeMarcus Lawrence, 13 years in the league. Leonard Williams, 12 years in the league. Jaron Reed, 11 years in this league. Dante Fowler, 12 years in this league. Everybody else, not much more than like 3 or 4 years on the defensive line. Derek Hall, this will be his 4th season. Mike Morris, his 4th season. So very veteran-heavy group on the defensive line. And, I mean, you've got a guy who has looked really good at times. You kind of wonder what is left in the tank for Dante Fowler. But, I mean, he comes with the Add and Dirty stamp of approval. And I think that goes a long way on that defensive line. And Dirty has been so, hands-on with that group since coming over from the Cowboys organization. This is his 3rd year as defensive coordinator here. And I think if he sees a guy that he has coached in Dallas and is willing to take him on here, I think that says a lot about the kind of player that he is going after. Because if you recall, the most, notorious of those Cowboys defensive linemen, Micah Parsons, was available via trade for any team to have. Seahawks not among the teams really that were talked about that had interest in Micah Parsons. So if the Seahawks are going after a former Cowboys offense or former Cowboys defensive lineman that Dirty coached in Dallas, I think it's like, all right, this is a good dude here.
Right,
let's get him in here.
Good sign. All right, man. That was who needs to outperform expectations for this team to get back to a Super Bowl. We got a few names for you out there. When we come back, it's time for What I Need to Know. Ask your questions, any questions. 866-979-3776. What I Need to Know next.
Think you know the Mariners? Not if you aren't subscribed to the Daily Mariners newsletter from Seattle Sports.
That's what they've been waiting for.
The latest Mariners news and injury updates, exclusives from Mariners insider Shannon Dreyer.
You look at the pieces and how it works.
Plus the best takes and breakdowns from your favorite Seattle Sports hosts and contributors.
The Mariners seem to be trying to build something that I think is a little bit more sustainable.
The Daily Mariners newsletter.
Monster solo home run.
Subscribe at seattlesports.com/newsletter.
Still planning your summer vacation? Tired of airports and long drives? Anacortes Yacht Charters has a better option. Cruise the San Juan Islands aboard a fully equipped yacht. Take the helm of a bareboat charter or hire a skipper to explore on your terms. Quiet coves, lively harbors, no schedules. Just a tide guide and a sense of adventure. With a fleet of 50 powerboats and sailboats, AYC has options for groups large and small, from beginner to old salt. Start your San Juan adventure at ayc.com/KIRO.
Spring is here, Seattle, and now is the smartest time to replace your roof. Trust your neighbors at 3 Tree Roofing, a local, family-owned company that knows how to roof in Washington weather year-round. Schedule your free estimate today at 3treeroofing.com to take advantage of spring pricing, shorter wait times, and get $500 off your new roof before the summer rush hits. Our experts come to you, build a clear plan, and give you an estimate that same day. No surprises and no high-pressure sales tactics. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Digging in my yard, trying to lay a pipe. I hit a water line and now I have to pay a big fine. I should have called 811.
There's not one car deal that is worth ruining an experience for a customer. That just is really what is instilled.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
It's National Safe Boating Week, and America's Boating Clubs of Washington wants you to know boating can be safe and fun. Always wear a life jacket, never boat under the influence, and take a safe boating course. America's Boating Clubs offer free Coast Guard approved vessel safety checks, boating skills courses, on-the-water training, and social activities. An educated boater is a better boater. There are 10 America's Boating Clubs throughout Washington State. Go to soundboating.com. America's Boating Clubs of Washington.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at People Come First, or PCF Construction Group. And if you've been dreaming of that new deck, you got to get a hold of PCF. Call them before the great weather arrives and their schedule gets totally filled up. With a new deck, patio cover, heater, and fireplace from PCF, you can enjoy the outdoors year-round no matter what the weather brings. And for a limited time, how about this? Get 50% off demolition costs up to $5,000 when you book your project with PCF. Contact People Come First Construction Group for all the details. They designed and built our outdoor living space, and we love it. Start planning and designing your dream deck now so you're ready to build this summer. Planning, permitting, and construction can take a little time, so get started today. Get project ideas, browse their amazing photos, and look at all the offer details at pcfgroup.com.
Making your outdoor space your favorite place. With People Come First.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafee, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. Improve your play with 40% off installation or 0% financing for 60 months with equal payments. And we're giving back with 2 $5,000 scholarships for our local youth sports teams. Upgrade your home today at PellaPNW.com.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
Mariners and White Sox tonight at T-Mobile. 6:40 first pitch, pregame at 5:30. Listen live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Mike Salk here for all my friends at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. And the show lineup is pretty sick. You like comedy? Chris Tucker, Friday, June 26th. And David Spade on Saturday, August 15th. For music, Hinder is going to be here Friday, July 3rd. And then a little country music, Mitchell Tenpenny on Friday, July 10th. You can go to snocasino.com for all those details. Remember, it's Seattle's closest. It's Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Please game responsibly.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code THRIVE to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code THRIVE to borrow up to $10,000. Use code THRIVE to borrow up to $10,000.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's time for What I Need to Know. Get your questions in. 866-979-3776. First one. Here we go, Curtis. Would you rather putt a 60-footer or chip in a 40-yarder to win the championship?
I feel like there's more drama surrounding a putt rather than a chip because it hardly ever comes down to a chip shot. I think I'd much rather sink the putt. The chip would be awesome, but I don't know if anybody's actually like planning on sinking that shot.
Yeah, I think with a putter, when you putt, you're thinking I legit have a chance. I can do this. It's deep, but I can do this. So now I'm with you. I go for a putter, and then I walk it in like Tiger Woods did back in the day.
Where he pointed at it?
Yeah. Boom, drop it up in that thing. Get your question. What I need to know, 866-979-3776. Here we go from David and Shoreline. What I need to know, is Kenny Mack going to be healthy enough, as far as you know, to really compete for time right out of training camp?
Last we heard is that he was still kind of nursing his way back from it, right? Like that was, here's the latest, April 20th from Mike McDonald on Kenny McIntosh.
He's coming along. It's tough to put a timetable on it, but he's training his tail off, and I think it's one of those deals where like, hey, let's just keep hitting those benchmarks until we can evaluate what's going to look like in the fall.
So that last line there, what it's going to look like in the fall, doesn't sound like he is going to be back so soon. Now, that was a month ago. Who knows what's changed in that last month? But
Who knows? All right. What I need to know, get your questions in, 866-979-3776. What's your favorite Kevin Smith movie?
Kevin Smith?
I have to look it up. You familiar with Kevin Smith, Matthew?
I mean, it's probably a basic opinion, but I always really like Clerks.
Yeah, that's the first one that popped up. Put his name in there. I'm trying to look to see if
there's also Clerks 2.
Actually, you know what? I need to change that. It's Mallrats, just because of the Stan Lee cameo.
Mallrats. I don't think I have a favorite one, honestly. I mean, I grew up.
He co-executive produced Good Will Hunting.
Did he?
Know that?
All right.
That seems so different than all of his other movies.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because he's like Jay and Silent Bob and all those guys.
All right. Okay, I'll just take your guys' opinion for it.
I can't imagine Bump's delegation is seeing many Kevin Smith movies.
Nah, I saw one of them with the guy with the long hair and the stoners, the long hair.
Jay and Silent Bob.
Okay, okay. I remember watching that one. What I need to know, what do you barbecue best? My grandpa was the grill master of my family. Passed away in 2020. Rest in peace, Papa.
Yeah.
Probably chicken for me.
Okay.
I can barbecue some chicken.
Yeah, I mean, there are some people that don't barbecue chicken well. They just kind of leave it uncooked in the middle. That's not good. I just love throwing burgers and dogs on the grill.
Yeah.
I mean, especially we're approaching that portion of the year. What's your favorite way to eat a dog? Eat a hot dog, I should say.
It's frowned upon in our culture.
Favorite way to eat a hot dog?
Like toppings wise?
Or just like...
It's barbecue. If a barbecue hot dog is the greatest thing in the world to me. Yeah, grill that thing, throw some barbecue in there. Man, that's the thing right there.
Yeah.
All right, what I need to know. Have you ever been invited to a friend's for dinner and you had to fake that it wasn't awful?
Probably.
Yeah, probably. I think we've all.
Can't recall. Well, actually, I can't recall. I think this was. Oh, this is years ago. Probably like 25 years ago now. We got invited to. It was either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, and we got invited over to my parents' friend's house, and they had gotten turkey, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then they told us that it was just the turkey that they had left over from like the year prior that they just froze again and then unfroze it and reheated it, and it was just like even as like a 10-year-old, I was like, are you kidding me? You couldn't get a fresh turkey? They're not that expensive.
Maybe they're struggling, man. It was struggling.
Maybe. But
oh, man. You can taste it.
Yeah, just frozen. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Freezer burnt. Yeah.
What I need to know, get your questions in. 866-979-3776. Let's see. If Tiger Woods was at his peak today, would he be as dominant as he was in his time? It seems there are a lot more competition in our days. It's not great for young golfers. I don't know. I think he'd be dominant. As dominant? Probably not, because he's inspired a whole generation to play and like actually work out now. Golfers are fit now, or a lot of golfers are fit. Back when Tiger was playing, man, golfers looked like they just smoked a pack of cigarettes in the parking lot and then hit the course, John Daly.
I was going to say some of them actually did that.
But I think he would still dominate. But to that level, like in the late 90s and early 2000s, I don't know.
I feel like if he had his run that he did in the late 90s, early 2000s, now, like, think of how popular he would be, even like he would be even more popular than what he was in the 90s and 2000s.
He'd be on some Michael Jackson popularity type stuff.
Right. I mean, he's already one of the most recognizable people on earth.
Yeah.
And it's why he drives himself everywhere, because he said that he doesn't like other people knowing where he's at. Like, he can't even trust drivers to keep his whereabouts secret. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at his majors from 2000 to 2002. He won 7 majors in those 3 years, and then had 2 other top 5 finishes in that 3-year stretch. So of the 12 majors, he finished top 5 in 9 of them and won 7 in that stretch.
That's crazy.
That's absurd.
That's dominance. We go, Bump, do you still think the Spurs aren't that good? Of course I don't think they're not that good. Before the draft last year, you said they were not going to be championship contenders unless they got Cooper Flagg. I'll just take your word on that. I don't have the will to go back and fact check, but of course they're good. They're in the conference finals.
Dylan Harper's a really good pick. They got it. Pick number 2 last year.
This is Wemby. You know what it is? I didn't think Wemby would take his game to this level, this fast. Like, it's crazy what Wemby's doing. I think
here.
He could be one of the greatest to ever do it if he can stay healthy, but he's big. You know, it's hard for those guys to stay healthy.
It's true.
All right, that has been the Dad Podcast. Michael Bump is with Curtis Rogers. Thank you for listening. Got Wyman and Bob coming up next.
What's your favorite way to eat a dog?
Brock and Salk.
2 numbers tell the story of this Mariners season.
Morning 6 to 10.
15 and 25.
That'd be the record if you took away the wins versus Houston.
In games not against the Astros, the Mariners are 15 and 25. The other number is 2. That's the number of games back the Mariners are in the very weak American League West. All of those things are true at once. There is a major issue with the way this team is played, but the division you're in is so weak that it's going to keep you in it forever.
Only on Seattle Sports.
If you're building decks in Washington this season, you need materials you can trust and a supplier who delivers. Par Lumber carries premium TimberTech and Trex composite and PVC decking, railing, and lighting, as well as pavers and fencing materials contractors depend on. With reliable job site delivery, we keep your projects moving so you can keep building. All the best outdoor living products are at Par. Visit par.com to learn more. Par, where the builders go.
Coming to Emerald Queen Casino Event Center, Thursday night, June 18th, it's Jim Jeffries.
If you see like an old couple and you go, how long have you two been married for? And they go, 45 years. And then I always ask, what's your secret? The man goes like this, she's always right. And then you see him go dead behind the eyes.
Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Global comedy heavyweight, Jim Jeffries, June 18th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help, call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Shopping for a new Mazda? Shop the West Coast's largest Mazda dealer, Mazda of Everett. With more new Mazdas in stock than any dealer in the region. Shop over 780 new Mazdas. Click on the Mazda of Everett price. At Mazda of Everett, exceptional customer satisfaction is the standard. Plus, at Mazda of Everett, you negotiate directly with the owner. Locally owned, trusted by thousands. Shop MazdaofEverett.com and see why we're number one.
Hey homeowners, are you stuck on the credit card treadmill and stressed because your consumer debt and monthly payments are too high? Well, Brock Hewitt here with a smart solution. Your home's equity in the Seattle Metro is probably larger than ever. It's like you're sitting on a stack of cash. Consider a cash-out refinance with Tila Mortgage to consolidate your high-balance credit cards, second mortgages, home equity lines of credit, and student loans, or get cash for a remodel. With interest rates finally coming down, consolidating your debt now may be the best decision you ever make. With excellent client reviews and trusted in Washington for over 25 years, Tila has competitive rates on refinance, purchase, or reverse mortgages too. Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a name you can trust for truthful, honest, and ethical advice for all your mortgage needs. Call Tila Mortgage today, 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
TilaMortgage.com.
Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
1877 Cars for Kids. KRS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1877 Cars for Kids. KRS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction.
1877 Cars for Kids. KRS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1877 Cars for Kids. KRS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. Donate your car today.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Under these arches, opposing teams are put to the test. Can they hear themselves over the boom of the 12s? Can they withstand the Seattle elements? Can they compete against us?
Touchdown! Seahawks!
This city lives for Sunday. Get your tickets for Seahawks game days at Lumen Field and experience